selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector. Rewind selector.
Welcome to the IPA Champions Cup, live on Sporty Stuff TV.
Well, a very, very good evening and welcome to day 4 of Sporty Stuff Champions Cup, Paul. Got 5 fantastic matches to look forward for tonight. And I've got next to me, my old mate. They said he's the best pool expert in the country. Mr. Mark Pickworth. Good evening, Mark.
Wow, I've never been sort of introduced like that. Who's been telling you all this anyway? Is that true?
I don't know if it's true or not. You've got to prove yourself tonight. We've got 5 matches. I want 4 winners from you tonight. Not 4. I'm giving you a little chance tonight.
No pressure then.
4 out of 5 you've got to pick up with tonight. Yeah, that's what no pressure.
But did you enjoy your first week? Because I didn't. A lot of people said that we wouldn't make it through the first show.
No, we done well, didn't we, through the first week? And I was waiting for the P45 to arrive when I got home Wednesday night. And, well, unless the postman's not been too well, but hasn't arrived yet. So, yeah, we're looking forward to week 2 as well. We had a great week last week. I don't know if you want to tell the viewers what happened last week, but it was just a fantastic week, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, on Monday, Liam Dunster, phenomenal form, the number 1 seed, won every frame possible. He was absolutely superb.
4-0, 4-0, 4-0. But he was 6-4 on to win.
He was the favourite, didn't he? And we also had the not so favourite, the Jamie Clark, the Shark. He was an 8-1 outsider.
Yeah, the match day 2 last week. It was unbelievable, wasn't it? 8-1, Jamie Clark, 8-1 outside of a 4, and this is one of our commentators tonight, Dan Fairway. He said no one should be 8-1 to win it. He don't care who they are. No one's that big because it's all a quick format, isn't it, tonight as well? Quick, sharp format, you know.
Yeah, pool players aren't used to this quick form and the race to 4. There's a possibility of the 3 all sort of frames, etc. But they'll get used to it. And don't get me wrong, every pool player that's come into the studio, they want to win this.
Yeah, I can see, yeah. I can see, yeah.
Well, this is how stage 2 sort of shaping up a little bit. So Liam Dunster, as I just mentioned, he won every 12 frames out of 12. And he got 6 points. And he's gone into stage 2 Group A alongside Corey Rees, who we saw on Wednesday, knock out one of the favourites, Clint Jansen.
But he was unbeaten as well, wasn't he?
He was. 6 points. Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Jamie Clark, he's gone into the stage 2 as well as a Group B winner. So, and then we've got on the end there, they're the 2 best runners up currently, but that could change this week. So Jake Dylan Newlove, he's currently on 4 points and a +3 average, and Andy Crosdale, he's on 4 points with a +4 average. Pretty good averages. Are they going to get knocked off them spots? There is a lot to play for this week.
Yeah, well, I see Andy Crosdale. I think he's only about a 12-1 chance to actually still win the competition. And you said he went unbeaten the other night, but he never, you know, what did he get? How many points did he get, Andy?
So he got 4 points. He had 1 win and 2 draws. So, yeah, he's not been beaten in this competition yet.
No, so he's unbeaten and he's about a 12-1 chance to actually win the final, isn't he? But looking at the matches tonight, we're going to start off with we've got the longest priced player this evening to win a match. We've got Wade Morley playing Mark Boyle, but you see Mark there, and you can tell us more about these players because Mr. Magic they call Mark Boyle. Is he that good?
Well, he was last year's Champions Cup runner-up. He lost to the Godfather, 10-8 in that classic final. And that is one final that I'll probably never, ever forget. It was brilliant. And if anybody that wants to rewatch that final, it's on YouTube. It was one of the best finals I've ever seen in my life. Right. But, yeah, he's up against it tonight.
Stevie Thompson, he's already played 1 match tonight, Snakey, lost 4-1.
He did.
So, you know, he had a chance, though, didn't he? He could have went 2-2. He missed a couple of easy balls. He missed 1 ball. He looked a certainty to go 2-2, didn't he? But Stevie Thompson will be the outsider now, wouldn't he, this evening? Yeah,
losing 4-1 in your first match is not the greatest start. It means he's got to really win the next 2 just to try and get into this next stage. But Tom Barley, you know, he came up really well and he won 4-1.
Well, Tom Barley, I've never seen a player.
A banger.
So quick. He was just flying around that table, weren't he? We've got the legend as well commentating this evening, Jim White, and I think he'll keep Jim on his toes tonight. Also, we've got Dan Fairway as well. You know, how he got round that table when the banger plays. I think the boys in the commentating booth, they're going to be on their toes tonight as well. And also, we've got a player playing here, Wade Morley. Now, you said he's an amateur, Wade Morley, but I've been told this kid can play. And, you know, he's 6 to 1 to win the final. And that's what the prices were before with our betting partners. Don't forget, if you are playing this evening, all the prices and you'll see, with all our betting partners, there'll be different prices, I think, weren't there?
Yep,
You know,
there's plenty of value on them.
plenty of value there, but you can't eat value. Although looking at me, I've got a bit of value in my time. But, you know, that's what you're going to get tonight. So I think it's going to be great value tonight. Got to say one word as well. Got to say one word as well for Mark Boyle's wife, Laura, has not been well. She's round her mum and dad's, Eileen and Andy's tonight in Cumbernauld with the children, Marcus and Kai. And Mark sends his love. And I know you ain't been well, Laura, but we're all with you. Love back home. And let's hope Mark proves, well, how good he really is tonight.
And she is his biggest supporter, without a shadow of a doubt.
Be lovely to serve for
Massive
Laura
support,
as
she
well.
is.
And, if he wins, he's going to come home with a few quid. He'll take you to Brayhead in the morning and buy you a nice present, Laura. He don't know that. Here we go, 8 to 11, Mark Boyle, and we're spending your money, Mark, before you win it tonight. As we said, you'll be going to Brayhead in the morning with Laura treating, and then you've got Stevie Thompson, who was don't forget these prices now are non-existent because we've already had one match, but these were the prices that they were before the 9 o'clock match this evening we had online. Tom Barley, that's 7 to 2. Anyone's back Tom Barley at 7 to 2. You've got a chance there, isn't it? He's already got 2 points. And as I said, Wade Morley, I think he could be the mystery man this evening, Wade Morley. For what I hear, he could be anything, Wade Morley. But I always come up with a belly buster. Last week we had 3 belly busters. We had a 5 to 1 winner, a 9 to 4 winner, and a loser. But tonight I've gone for an odds-on chance in this first match here. I've gone for the shorten here. I've gone 4 to 6 here, Mark Boyle to beat Wade Morley. I'm going to go with class here. As I said, last week we had a 5 to 1 and 9 to 4 winner. I'm going to bet the odds on tonight. Now, when I say 4 to 6, the prices can change with all our betting partners, as you know. It's like Wade Morley. He's 3 to 1 with one firm, 130 Burlington Bertie with another firm, and also you can get 4 to 1 Wade. Don't laugh at Burlington Bertie. I'm going to learn you all about these odds tonight.
I cannot wait to learn this lingo.
And you can have 4 to 1 Wade Morley with some of the firms as well. So if you want to get the value, just look online. You know, our betting partners are up there. So that's what you've got to do to get the value. But I think this first match here tonight is going to be very, very, very short, isn't he? 4 to 6. But I'm having him as a belly buster, Mark Boyle, to beat Wade Morley. You going to be with me?
Well, Mark Boyle is definitely the outright favourite, and I know he's not been playing too much competitive pool at the moment.
He's not played for 6 months, has he?
He hasn't. But what we need to remember is Mark Boyle has got a 70% win ratio in like 5 years. It is phenomenal. Remember, Liam Dunster had a 72%, and we saw what he did. Mark Boyle is just as good.
Yeah, but I think why Mark hasn't been playing is when we mentioned early, Laura, his wife, hasn't been too well, and that's why he's not been travelling the country. But I'm sure tonight he won't only be playing for Mark Boyle tonight, he'll be playing for the family as well, won't he? So,
Mark Boyle is back, and when I watched him
Boyle
in
is
practice, he looked in phenomenal form.
Yeah.
So there you go. He's ranked number 7, Mr. Magic, and he's won 7 of his last 10 matches.
Yeah.
He's missed the last couple of tours, but this boy is back.
Yeah, and you know he practices with Liam Dunster.
There's it.
You know what happened to Liam the other night when he come here 4-0, 4-0, 4-0. So maybe he may be going back up to Bonnie, Scotland tomorrow or tonight.
There's no way that Liam beat Mark 4-0, 4-0, 4-0 because that wouldn't have happened.
There's nothing
Definitely
between these, is there?
No, absolutely nothing. They're both phenomenal players.
Yeah, and Wade Morley, don't forget, as I said, you know, he's the mystery man. He's an amateur. What number is he in the amateur rank?
He's number 4 in the amateur ranks.
4.
He's looking to be a professional next year. He's knocking on the door every time. And this, let me just say, this is the second time in succession that he's qualified for this event. He'll qualify for this tomorrow, the day after. He just loves playing pool. He'd play every day.
Really?
Yeah, he really will.
I like when the pictures there we show him, he had the white top on because he was a Derby boy, wasn't he?
He was,
and
yeah.
He's moved up now to, is it Darlington that way he's moved up to now, isn't he? Well, you know, but, you know, he's still got the old Derby, the white top on there. And but as I said, what a first match he's got tonight against Mark Boyle. You know, 4 to 1 to beat him.
It's a tough one. But Wade Morley,
he's
been in a quarter-final of an open event this season. So he's got a little bit of form, and he's got a 62% win ratio in 3 years. That's not bad.
You want to take the belly buster on, don't you, in match 1?
Absolutely we do. Absolutely.
Now we've got Tom Barley coming up as well. Well, just see what happened with Tom in the 9 o'clock match, didn't we, online? He absolutely, you know, 4-1, he won so easy, didn't he, in the end? And he flew round that table, didn't he, Mark?
Yeah, he did. I mean, on pen and paper in the IPA ranks, he's second favourite. But on the betting partners, he was favourite to win that match against Snaky Steve.
He was 5-4. He was 5-4 to win it. They went 5-4, 5-4 Tom, 6-4 Snaky, and the tie. I know you fancy the tie. Listen, this man here, he fancies the tie every match because you said the price is wrong. So you can get 5-2. Most of the firms go a tie. Because it's only max, it could be 3-3, very easy, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you think one night you're going to get 5 or 6 ties up, don't you? You think it could go through the card?
It could easily happen. And I've gone for a tie again tonight. I think one of the pickers' picks, I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to just show.
Oh, not
the
another
audience
tie,
that.
not another
It's
draw.
Another tie.
No.
So
no,
I think
no more.
Morley and Barley, that could be a tie. And on one of our betting partners, that is 21-10.
21-10. Well, if the people at home, if the viewers look, they might get a bit bigger than 21-10 because you might get a bit of 9-4 or even 5-2. But you love them draws, don't you?
It's going to happen. They're all going to come like buses, as we've already mentioned. Yeah. They're going to happen without a shadow.
That's good. I've not been on a bus for a long time. So anyway, Stevie Thompson, snake bite. I know he's already lost his first match tonight. What can we say about it? He's got a mountain to climb now, hasn't he? You know, I've never been good at climbing mountains, by the way, Mark. I don't know why.
Well, I'm not sure Snaky can climb mountains either. I mean, he's ranked number 23 on the amateur ranks, but he's not had the best of seasons. The best he's done this season is around 3, which is like a last 64. It's not great from Stevie Thompson. And in the previous years, he was getting to quarterfinals and last 16 quite regular. So we're just waiting for that form to come back. Can it come back tonight? Losing the first match 4-1, he's got a lot of work to do.
I'll tell you what, in our second match tonight, Snaky's he's round about even money to 5-4 to beat Wade Morley. So I think that might be too short. So if you watch the first match here coming up now, if Wade Morley plays well, I suggest you get online, and if you can get anything around 2-1, 9-4 Wade Morley to beat Snaky. Don't forget, Snaky's already lost one match, hasn't he? And we've got the graphics here. Every match we're showing now, well, the first one you can't get on because Tom's already won. That was first favourite that's already obliged, 5-4. Then we got here 4-6. Don't forget, all these prices I'm giving you, they're different with all the firms. You know, they're just on average, aren't they, the prices? Even money, Steve Thompson, they're going there against 7-4 Wade Morley. Well, I know you can get a bit of 9-4 Wade Morley. You can get a bit of 5-4 Steve Thompson. So all these prices, look at that one here then. Look, Mark Boyle, 8-11, Mr. Magic. Tom Barley, 11-4. Now, you know Tom's just won the first match easy. Maybe that could be a bit of value, 11-4, because what you've got to do, if you're at home, you've got to read this as if you're form students and watch these matches. And if you see, if Mark Boyle struggles in this first match here, then I should imagine all the betting partners will be inundated with people who want to back Tom Barley 11-4 to beat him. It's all about watching with your own eyes, coming up with your own suggestions, and if you want a bit of value, as I said, watch it, what you see in these matches. Mark, you know yourself, players come in and out of form, don't they?
Oh, yeah, they do. And in pool, it is pretty much anyone's game. And it's pretty much like a Grand National. Anybody can win this. But we've got 5 matches.
Grand National, oh, you're making
We've got 5 matches to come.
Horses, aren't you, and dogs?
We are. But we've got 5 matches to come. There's loads of value out there. There's loads of options for people.
And bearing in mind, this man next to me, Mark, you are a professional player as well, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm playing on the 7th of February.
7th of February.
So I won't be sat here. So
no.
You're going to be all right on your own.
Oh, well, I don't know. We might find someone else to sit there with me. You know, I'm always lonely in the evening. So, no, I'm just looking forward. It's been a great, well, we had the first great week was good, weren't it? You know, as I said, we had a favourites winning. Then we had the outside. All the betting partners as well reported last week that they took a lot more money on this pool than they did before when it was on Sporty Stuff TV. So that's what we want. Build it up. You never know. You know, we've got the Masters snooker on at the Ali Pally this week. Who knows, in a year or 2 years' time, we might be against, you know, we could be as big as them, couldn't we, Mark?
Well, that's something that we can look forward to without a shadow.
All you've got to do is dream. I've always been a good dreamer. You've got to have loads of cheese at night with your hot chocolate, and then you'll be all right. Well, what we're going to do then, we're going to come back in about 3 minutes' time for our next match. Don't forget, we've got a great ref as well this evening. Who is this evening?
Ben Taylor Ferrente.
Ben Taylor Ferrente. He's going to be our ref. So you've got 3 minutes. If you want to have a little play on the next match, don't forget, go online, look for the value. But if you want to be with me, I'm going to go with a belly buster. I'm going to go Mark Boyle to beat Wade Morley at 4-6. See you in 3 minutes.
Thank you, gents. When you're ready, please lag for break.
Well, welcome everybody. It's the Sporty Stuff TV 2022 Champions Cup. And the players just lagging for the break. Wade Morley
Boyle wins the lag.
and our heavy favorite, Mark Boyle, last year's runner-up. So can Mr. Magic go one better this year? First things first, he's got to get through his group. And Dan, he is the betting favorite, but anytime you're involving balls and elements of luck, stranger things have happened in smaller towns.
That's very true, Jim. Good evening, everyone. However, for me, I have to say, I think Mark Boyle is a heavy favourite for good reason. For me, he's a class above the rest of the field tonight. But these are short races, and as you say, anything can happen.
Match 2, best of 6 frames. First frame, Mark Boyle to break.
I know one thing,
Time running.
listening to Gary and Mark in the studio and all these terms, belly busters and what have you. I'll tell you what, it's gut-wrenching is what it is.
It is, and, well, that break for Mark Boyle, I was going to say it would be gut-wrenching, but as you just saw there on the replay, red flew up to the top right. So he does have the first visit to the table. Now, what's he got on?
Extension call.
He's got a bit of a clip to the left centre on reds. Does he have a plant on yellows up to the top left? If he does, that might be his option.
Now, Mark wears glasses when he plays, and I remember in the summer when they played this event, I might have even talked about the glasses that he wears. Would these be specially made glasses to kind of, you know, eliminate some of the glare from the TV lighting?
Mark's gone through phases of wearing glasses while he plays. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. So whether it's just a preference or whether he sometimes wears contacts, I genuinely don't know. But as far as I'm aware, yes, they are specially made sort of snooker / pool glasses. They're not quite the Dennis Taylors of old, but a little bit more stylish nowadays.
Well, I say that because they don't have the rims on them, do they? And a lot of glasses that are made for players, whether they be snooker glasses or pool glasses, they don't have the rims.
No, that's true. You wouldn't want that in your eye line. Mark's certainly playing as if he's got nothing in his eye line. That was a nice shot there to open up the black. He's still got to get down table for that. The bottom of those reds, though. That's going to be the most difficult positional shot. And he's got a nice angle here.
Now, seeing Mark again now, all those memories are coming back to me from the summer when I was so impressed with how he went around the table. He's so businesslike.
Yeah, that'll be why he's favourite with the bookies, Jim. They know their stuff. And you can see it here. This just every part of this clearance. This was a tricky table he came to after the break, and every part of this clearance so far has been perfection.
And it's one thing to be the prohibitive favorite. It's another to come out on the table and establish it. And a lot of times when you are such a big favorite, the pressure's only on one player. And Mark will be well aware of that too.
Rakes of check side there to try and get the cue ball as perfect as possible for this last red down the left-hand rail. This is a bit thin. This is not easy.
10 seconds.
Absolutely nailed it. And look at the position. He's dead straight on the black, down to the bottom left corner. This is a really impressive start from Mark Boyle.
Frame.
Magic has the wand in his hand and a dream start, as you said, Dan. Just the way that Mark would have scripted it. It's a 1-0 advantage for over the amateur Wade Morley.
Yep, absolutely superb from Mark. It's what we expect from him, but he just continues to deliver. There we can see the table in its current form. Sorry, there we can see the table in its current form. Tom Barley sitting pretty at the top at the moment with that 4-1 win over Snaky, Steve Thompson. Mark Boyle and Wade Morley both making their
Frame 2.
entrance into the
Wade
competition
Morley
now.
to break. Trailing 1 frame to 0. Time running.
And we'll get our first look at Wade Morley here. He knows what he's up against. I don't think anything found gravity.
No, certainly didn't, Jim. Wade sits back in his seat a little bit dejected. There's nothing worse, really, than the start of a match when your opponent dishes off the break and then you come to the table and break dry.
Extension cool.
And this is a glorious, glorious chance for Mark Boyle as well. All the yellows have sort of split over to the right-hand side. The reds have popped open beautifully. I fully expect this to be 2-0 in a matter of a couple of minutes.
Yes, every red available. Got a good look at the backhand from Mark Boyle. Releases the cue and then lets it go. So much depends on fundamentals in this game. They practice many hours so that it all becomes muscle memory.
Thing is, Mark's a former professional snooker player as well, so I mean,
10
if
seconds.
that doesn't tell you the talent level he has with a cue in his hand, then nothing will. Thing is, you take a look at this table and you think, yeah, those reds are easy, and then you look at the one below the black and you think, well, maybe that's a bit awkward, but it flies into the right centre, so there really are just no problems here for Mark at all.
Ten seconds.
Get down and take out the reds furthest from the black. In his mind, he's already weighed up the path to the finish line in this frame.
You know, I've got a slightly ominous feeling here for Wade Morley, because given Mark's first break, and it looks very much like this is going to be a reverse dish, it could well be that Wade cannot win this match by the time he gets to the table next.
Well, prophetic words, Dan. And we'll see if Mark Boyle can prove you true.
Well, Wade's going to be sitting in his seat and hoping and praying for a dry break next up. He's given this frame up already, without a doubt. You know, he gave this frame up probably when he walked away from the table. When he looked at those reds, he knew that it was 2-0. We all did, really, if we're honest.
Well, second time he's looked at a dead on black to secure a frame, and this is no different.
Frame.
Stupendous stuff from Mark Boyle. As good as it gets, folks. He has played perfect pool. 2-0, his lead over Wade Morley.
Yeah, feeling a little bit sorry sat in my seat for Wade at the moment, I have to say. There's not a lot he was able to do about that. Mark Boyle looks in menacing form.
And you just know all those bookies sitting at home right now, they're all looking at those odds and thinking, Well, this guy's like a robot. He's like a full-playing machine. Those odds are going to be changing very fast.
Frame 3. Mark Boyle to break, leading 2 frames to 0. Time running.
Well, the way that Mark's going, this may be Wade's best chance. He needs something to go wrong on the Boyle break. Oh my word. Well, it hasn't. That's another big break from Mark Boyle. He's electing to use the cut break so far tonight, and he appears to be using it to devastating effect. Just the yellow covering that bottom right pocket, that'll be a concern for him, because without that, he definitely would have gone red.
Extension call.
Yes, the shot clock, 30-second shot clock. He just bought himself a little extra time because he wants to weigh this up. As you said, Dan, and I fully agree, that yellow over the bottom right, that's the one that's causing him concern right now. Otherwise, it would have been reds.
It's a little bit of an outside bet, this shot, but he could try to play a skill shot first up here. If he played the
10
red
seconds.
onto the yellow and potted them both. Well, I'm not sure if that's what he was trying or not, but either way, he's now stuck with yellows. And that means he's stuck with a problem, the two on the left-hand side.
Well, I think his facial expression after that
10 seconds.
told the tale. I think he was half hoping that that red was going to follow the yellow in, but he's got a very difficult plant here.
Oh, what a shot that is. That's just silly. The distance between those two yellows and the angle, queuing down on it, that's perfection.
Yes, he's trying to get up. He wants to play that other yellow to the same pocket, and he's well short of pace. And that smile, well, that's an outward smile only. He's not happy with that effort.
He's not. He could have a look at the double here. That bottom right pocket looks pretty big to me with that yellow sat there. The problem is, if he does play that and does flick off the yellow, he might push the yellow into
10
trouble
seconds.
itself. So, he needs to be careful. Needs to hurry up as well. Yeah, that was a bit of shot clock pressure for me. Mark Boyle comes unstuck for the first time in the match, and he's left a beautiful looking table for Wade Morley. No problem at all on reds.
To make matters worse, he never did cover that bottom pocket either. That red flies into the bottom right corner. So this is a gilt-edged opportunity
10
for Wade.
seconds. Extension called.
And it's so vital to take chances like these when you're playing players of Mark Boyle's calibre. You just can't afford to miss. Well, if you're going to miss, then do that. Because he's covered the pocket here. The skill shot is, so difficult. But I'm not sure what choice Mark's got. Does he have anything else to look at? There's no safety, is there? Well, he's just going to try and tie Wade up.
Yeah, there's just no value in attacking right now, is there? Wade has to try and leave himself to try and drop below a red, to play the red onto the yellow, to take the red into the corner. So that's what Mark has to try and guard against now.
Yeah, I think Mark's going to try and take this bottom left pocket as well. That's a clever shot, because it looks like Mark's a long way off there, but actually what he has done is opened up the potential of the skill shot for himself. Because he could pop that yellow down to the left later on and cannon into those, the red and yellow over the bottom right. That would open everything back up for him. Wade's got a good chance here to get a bit of a telling snooker though. And that's not bad.
Total snooker.
Just looking down at the one cushion escape.
Foul.
He's missed
One
it.
free shot. One visit. Time running.
Yeah, a little bit of an error for Mark there. He was trying to be very precise. He didn't want to move that yellow away from the bottom left corner too much. The problem for me there, he just had to make sure of the hit, and he didn't. So he's given Wade a
Time running.
wonderful opportunity.
10 seconds.
Nice opening pot, but he's finished. Ah, it looks very straight to me.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty straight to him too. Otherwise, he'd have got down and played it.
10 seconds.
Oh, where's this
Look
cue ball?
out!
Foul.
Wow.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch,
One free
ouch.
shot. One visit.
Now, don't get me wrong,
running.
that's a bad shot. But I think to find an angle that acute is a little bit unlucky for Wade. Mark Boyle's not going to need 2 invitations, though. This is going to be 3-0.
And he doesn't have to bother himself with getting too close to the final black, even though he does have an angle to take the cue ball up near it. It's in such an inviting place. It just had very little to do.
Frame.
And with that, he assures himself of at least the draw and 1 point. But at 3-0, Mark Boyle, well, he is sending a message to all the players in his group. He is the man to beat.
Yeah, this is exactly what his countryman Liam Dunster did last week. In our very first group, Liam won all 12 frames, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0. You've got very heavy, very good odds on Mark Boyle doing that before this evening, but well, don't put it past him. Let's have a look at our next
Your
match.
next match coming up. Yeah, Wade Morley.
Frame
He'll be
4.
up against Steve Thompson, and
Wade
Steve will
Morley
be
to
looking
break.
to put things right.
Trailing
Wade will
3
be
frames
staying
to
on
0.
the table, and
Time
hopefully
running.
for him, he gets a chance to take something positive away from this match.
Yeah, well, they're both, as you say, they'll both be looking probably to bounce back. And it might be more difficult for Wade, because going straight on after a defeat is really, really tough. Steve's had a bit of time to settle down, to settle his nerves back again. And another dry break for Wade Morley means it's looking
10
more and more
seconds.
likely that he will be playing in the next match very soon. There is a bit more work for Mark here. The red on the left-hand side is a little bit tricky, but he has opened everything else up now.
Ten seconds.
this is a beautiful positional shot. Look at that. Finds the gap between the cushion and the yellow. Magnificent.
Just dropped on the most awkward red on the table.
Yeah, and his pattern's becoming more and more clear now.
10 seconds. You haven't used it. Extension called.
Yeah, it just wants to take a little bit more time, I think. Not so much to look at this red, but to weigh up how he wants to remove the remaining 4 after this one.
Yeah, the red on the right-hand side is causing him a little bit of trouble because it's so close to the rail. That would be an ideal last ball, but actually I don't think the black easily goes to the left centre playing on that. They may choose to get rid of that and then take the black up to the top right. So that will probably be the next key shot. It'll be after this shot. He'll take the red to the right centre. And then he needs to put the one down the rail and screw out of it.
Just have to exercise a little bit of caution on these because he's going to be playing it with a little force and the pocket shrinks.
It does, and that was quite a long way off as well, Jim. That was... He's missed that by a fair margin, actually. He didn't want to contact that yellow at all.
He played that shot with such little commitment. Like I fully expected him to play it with a bit more force and try and draw above that yellow.
10
He
seconds.
really did miss hit that one.
Yeah, such a tough table for Wade to come to. This is a tricky little safety shot, but he has played that very well indeed.
Total snooker.
This is a tough snooker to get out of for Mark Boyle.
Well, this
Can't
is
see a one cushioner.
10
himself.
seconds.
Yeah, I mean, the way he's been playing, you didn't see him missing that red down the rail at all.
Foul. 1 free shot. 1 visit. Timeout.
Well, it's a foul. It's probably not
Time
one
running.
that Mark will be too worried about giving away. That could have gone a lot worse. He's actually pushed... He's essentially tied up 2 yellows in one shot there. So I think Wade, just take control of this top right pocket and then probably skim off the one nearest the cue ball and try and put him back in behind there. You'll certainly be looking for some sort of safe option. Possibly in behind the black now.
Total snooker.
Well, he's certainly keeping the handcuffs on Boyle right now.
He is. I'm slightly surprised at that shot from Wade. It's a good safety, don't get me wrong. But I think I'd have moved the yellow next to the black and put it in behind the black. It's a good escape from Mark. See, Wade, I don't know if that yellow will go up to the top right. If it does, then it was a great shot from Wade. But Wade Morley really does want to force the foul out of Mark here so that he's got a free shot to open up those 2 yellows and the red on the right-hand side. He's trying to get the cue ball in behind that yellow and black again.
Total snooker.
Fraction short of pace. If he could have got right up behind it, this would have been a much tougher hit for Mark.
Foul. 1 free shot.
But it
One
was
visit.
tough enough.
Time running. Timeout.
Now then,
Oh,
Wade
time
Morley.
running.
He does have to get after those 2 yellows on the right-hand side. Red. It's just...
Well, Mark's given the foul away, so this is his best opportunity. Obviously, he doesn't fancy this yellow going up to the top right because he's trying to break them all out in one shot.
10 seconds.
not convinced about this. Oh, it's pretty good, but he has knocked a yellow to the bottom cushion, and that's going to be just a little bit of a thorn in his side.
Well, at some point, you just have to feel that Wade's got to take the bull by the horns here. I mean, this isn't a match where you're going to try and go in through the back door.
It's just weighing up whether to move that yellow now, because he could play the top of those two yellows nearest the bottom right corner and play into that yellow on the rail. It would likely come out, and he'd definitely have a shot on the other one over the bottom right. So I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to move that. Well, he didn't.
I don't know about you, Dan, but he doesn't look comfortable to me. Doesn't look settled.
No, there's definitely a little bit of a lack of confidence here. And again, I'm not sure about that shot. He doesn't really have a natural ball now to drop on that difficult one on the rail. Is he going to play that now? That's a massive shot. He'd be if he did play that now and covered the pocket, he'd be unlikely to leave Mark on anything, admittedly. What sort of angle does he have here? He doesn't look all that happy with it. He doesn't want to be dead straight, but he also doesn't want to be running into the reds. He'll be pleased with that. That's about as good as he could have got from there, I think.
Well, he's going to have to dial distance on that black, but he knows that the way he's going to play it, he shouldn't leave Mark Boyle anything if he misses it.
Well, no, that's true, but it depends how confidently he takes this on. You kind of want to punch these in with a bit of power, but if you do that, you're likely to leave a shot for Mark next up.
Yeah, I doubt very much that cue ball is going to be coming down to this end of the table, whether he makes this or misses it.
Frame.
Oh,
made
nice
it.
strike. Well done, Wade Morley. Well done. Not easy to get to the table and knock him in when you know the best you can do is draw in a match. You got to keep the positive thoughts swirling in your head. 3-1. Still in with a chance at the draw.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a 4-0 written all over it after Wade's dry break. But it wasn't. Wade's still in the match. He can still take frames off Mark Boyle. And mark my words, Tom Barley is going to be sitting there, and so will Steve Thompson, hoping that Wade gets those next two frames. Because Mark getting a draw, that opens up the group a little bit. If Mark goes through the tournament and continues playing like he did in the first three frames, then the other two are in trouble.
Mark Boyle to break. Leading 3
Well, that's a
frames
very
to 1.
good point you draw there.
Time running.
And you know very well, Dan, that in any round-robin format, sometimes your fate is in another's hands. And I agree. I think big a favorite as Mark is in this. They're all hoping that Wade can play himself back into this match and try and squeak out a draw. Good break, though, from Mark Boyle.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Jim, if Wade is going to do that, then he's going to need to have the opportunity to. And that is a great break from Mark. Just that
10
bottom
seconds.
right quadrant of the table.
Extension call.
He's going to be studying that. That's why he's taking his extension. He's a very studious player, Mark. He likes to work everything out. He likes to be sure. But this game has a way of biting you. And Mark will know that he should be really sat down having a cuppa now because it should have been 4-0. He had the chance.
Well, he has that one awkward yellow. And that's the one right now that concerns him the most.
It is a very awkward yellow as well because there's no natural ball to break that out with. The one just
10
below
seconds.
it, you could argue is, but then you also want that ball to drop on the one on the bottom rail. And that ball can't do both of those jobs at once. So he needs to find another way to either break that out or to drop on the one at the bottom of the table.
Ask and ye shall receive, Ben.
Yeah, that'll be one job sorted, potentially. He should be able to flick the yellow out into open play here.
Just wants to control where it goes. And he wants to make sure he drops
10
on another yellow.
Yeah, I think he was trusting to luck a little bit there, and I don't think it's been particularly kind to him. It's certainly covered one option for the trickier yellow on the bottom rail. It will still go to the bottom right.
10 seconds.
It would still go to the bottom left, but it's difficult to get the cue ball there. And surely that yellow is not going to drop, and it doesn't. So Wade gets another chance at the table. Problems of his own, though.
Yeah, with that yellow so deep in the pocket, though, the skill shot is always on.
10 seconds.
Yeah, Wade was just eyeing that up.
Extension
If
call.
he can get the cue ball right in behind that, then he will almost certainly take that on. I think from where he is, it's a risk too far. The position on the next ball is not guaranteed. Well, he's looking at it. This is a massive shot. Got about
Just
10
doesn't
seconds
feel like
left.
he's got any
10
choice.
seconds.
Oh, it's magnificent. That's a wonderful skill shot from Wade Morley. Still plenty of work to do in the frame, but that takes nerves of steel.
Couldn't have hit it any better.
No, absolutely sweet. But it doesn't
10
matter if you miss the next one. This shot is still so tough. Needs that cue ball to run. He's digging a hole here that he may find it difficult to get out of. There's still a possibility he's going to finish these off, but it's going to be, I imagine, 3 difficult pots in a row.
10 seconds.
It's going to be a double. It's got to be.
And no room for error.
Oh, my word. This is some clearance, let me tell you. Wade Morley,
Wow,
where's
Wade.
this come from?
He's weaving a spell of his own against Mr. Magic, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's nicked his wand, Jim. This black is not in by any stretch, but it would be such a shame if he missed it. This is a tough, tough pot into that centre pocket.
Frame.
What a finish for the Blade. A finish that any pro would have been proud of. And he pulls back to 3-2. Still a draw on the cards here. Wade Morley, 2 Mark Boyle 3.
I can tell you, Jim, that both these players' heart rates have just leapt. Let's have a look at this double again from Wade Morley. It's not just the double, it's the position. It's a wonderful shot, and it's probably the finish of the tournament so far from Wade. That is superb stuff, and it will be his break in what is essentially a deciding frame. It'll either be a draw or 4-2 to Mark Boyle. Either way, we're about to find out. What a finish this has been. Wow.
Sixth and final frame. Wade Morley to break, trailing 3 frames to 2.
Yes, the temperature's just gone up in the arena, hasn't it? It's a little hotter in there than when they started.
I've got a sweat on myself, Jim.
The 6th and deciding frame.
Void break.
Oh, well, well, well. Isn't that always the way? Oh, Wade can't believe his luck there. It's a good break, this. But in goes the black, and that will be a re-rack.
Yeah, he looked over at Mark Boyle and was grinning from ear to ear, too. But he knows that Mark Boyle was let off the hook there. That was a great break, had that black not found gravity.
I don't know if you remember, Jim, but there was a pivotal moment in the Champions Cup final in 2021 between Mark Boyle and Gareth Hibbert. And it was a really important frame, and Mark Boyle did that twice on the spin.
Wade Morley to break again. No penalty. Time running.
I barely remember what happened yesterday, Dan. Well, the same thing. Let's just keep that black on the table, Wade.
It's not going anywhere this time, but neither is anything else. A shake of the head, a furrow of the brow. Wade Morley walks dejectedly away from the table. However, Mark hasn't taken a very difficult finish out yet, and I would argue that that falls under this category. This is a tough table.
Call.
That yellow at the bottom end, in between those 2 reds, he's having a look at that now. I'm 99% sure that doesn't pass into the bottom right. And I don't think you could get on it to the bottom left. So that's the biggest problem to solve. Zeffy's even got a nice opener on yellows. The one above cue ball, it's okay, but it's tricky.
10 seconds.
He dropped on the yellow that he just contacted. Might have made life a little easier. But Mark has to study this now because the road map has got a lot of winding turns in it.
Yeah, it certainly does. He needs to find a nice angle on something to break out that one in the bottom of the table. You can see there the ideal ball, the one to the right of it. Land nicely on that. You should be okay, but the way the reds are situated as well, it's really difficult to get the yellow and the cue ball back out. Well, here's the chance. If this shot goes well, it's 4-2 to Mark Boyle. If not, it's still anyone's game.
Ten seconds.
It was almost like the balls were in sand. Never really got the development on that yellow that he wanted.
No, he caught the bottom of those 2 reds far too thick. He had to contact something thin so that the cue ball had some momentum on it to get the other one out. And it hasn't worked there. What can he do here? Can he just leave Wade tied up on that red? Just not leave him anything. Can he pot this into the left centre? Oh, he could have done, you know, but he didn't. And now Wade Morley has the chance that he will have been hoping and praying for. Tell you what, Jim, I can't really see any problems either. I'm fairly sure the red in the centre of the table goes into the left middle. Just got to pick these off.
10 seconds.
Just got to steady his nerve here. He dropped the first 3 frames in this match. He's got a chance to squeak out of it with a draw, and wouldn't that feel like a win?
Well, I think he feels like luck's on his side. I don't know if you noticed there, but there was a little hand of apology to Mark because he thought he'd missed that, and it just dropped in. I think he needs to clear the top of the 2 reds that are together first into the right centre, because I'm pretty sure the other one doesn't pass it. He's having a good look at the one that goes into the left centre as well. That's well controlled. He's cued that nicely to hold the cue ball for that one.
Ten seconds. Extension called.
Wade is a fairly fast. I was going to say Wade is a very fast and fluid player normally, but he is definitely taking his time over this. This is such a huge finish for him. Not just in
I
the
thought that was a very
tournament.
timely call for the extension, though, Dan. I mean, he's still, they're all there for him. He just needs to keep control of his nerve.
Yep. Can take this one, just skim off the yellow to hold the slow the cue ball down a touch. He'd get these in his sleep normally. He'd love a little bit less angle on this though. It wasn't the best of shots, that previous one. I think he was trying to sort of slide off the yellow and come bring the cue ball a bit further left.
10 seconds.
It's amazing how difficult you can make an easy finish when the pressure's on. And that is what Wade Morley is doing here right now.
He's probably made this last red as tough as he could have. He knows it. Now he's going to gather himself again.
If he cuts this into the right centre, that top left pocket is
10
going to look
seconds.
enormous for the cue ball. He's gone for the double. Oh, he's nailed it. It's brilliant. It's
What
a
a
fantastic
shot.
recovery shot.
Frame.
A
Match is
double
drawn, 3
for the
frames on.
dough. Wade Morley and Mark Boyle. Split 6 frames, 3 each. And I'll be so interested to hear what our pundits in the studio have to say about that performance.
Well, I'll tell you what he's got to say, Jim. He's got to leave his name and address with the bookmakers because he has saved the bookies an absolute fortune out tonight, Wade, hasn't he? You know, everyone's had put them in doubles and trebles, you know. I think I see one firm going 5-1, Mark Boyle to win every match. 3-0 up, he was absolutely, you know, I just can't believe. I honestly can't believe 3-0 up. It looks home and hosed, didn't it? And then all of a sudden, what a comeback there. But as I said, Wade Morley, leave your name and addresses with the betting partners, the Sporty stuff, because they will love you. And Christmas, you won't be getting a Christmas card next year. You'll be getting a nice leather wallet as well, or a briefcase. You can't believe what he's done, can you, Mark?
No, I can't, but, you know, 3-0 down to come back to 3-0 against Mr. Magic Mark Boyle is a phenomenal result. But
One of your bets as well, a tie. You love a tie, don't you?
I do. I said there was always going to be one coming up. There had to be one coming up in this.
You never thought that when he was 3-0 up.
No, definitely not. Not the way that Mark started the match off. He looked really comfortable and he didn't take his chances. But Wade, with them 2 doubles, you could see the pressure getting to him a little bit, but he's deserved his 3-3 tonight.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Next match, what we got on next? Wade Morley. Oh, again. And he knows how the balls are going now. Wade against Stevie Thompson. as I said, they made Steve Thompson a very, very short price favourite. I'm just looking at my list here. Steve Thompson was about an even money 5-4 chance, and Wade Morley was 2-1. I don't think he'll be 2-1 now. After what you've just seen now, Wade Morley, that was a comeback of all comebacks, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and I'm looking forward to this one. This is a bit of a northeast derby. I know, like, Wade's from Derby, but this is for all, both these players are from the northeast. Everyone would be watching this in the northeast now.
I'll tell you what we'll do then. We'll have 3 minutes, shall we? If you want to place your bet, we'll be back in 3 minutes for match 3 or match 2 on Sporty Stuff.
Thank you, gents. When you're ready, please lag for break.
Welcome back to the Sporty Stuff TV Champions Cup for the third match of the evening. This one between Wade Morley and Steve Thompson. I'm joined in the commentary box by Mark
Wade
Pickworth.
Morley wins the lag.
Mark, how's your heart rate after that last match? And more importantly, how do you think Wade Morley's will be?
Well, he'll definitely feel better about that one, because you could just see the nerves are really getting to him in that studio setting. But he'll be pleased. He's got a point on the board. I mean, both Mark and Wade, they haven't lost yet, so let's not write them out just yet. But Mark will be probably a little bit disappointed, 3-0 up, and not won that match.
Well, I think Steve Thompson might have got a bit of a boost from that result as well, because it sort of keeps him in it. You know, a draw helps the others as much as anything.
Match 3, best of 6 frames. First frame.
Yeah,
Wade
that's an
Morley to break.
interesting point there, definitely.
Time running.
I think if one of the other players, well, like, say if Mark would have won, yeah, I think Steve would have been completely out of it. But as you say, Steve Thompson is still in this Champions Cup.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's very much still in it. And a dry break was not what Wade Morley wanted to start this match. He would have been looking to start as he finished off in the previous match.
10 seconds.
But immediately a chance makes itself available for snaky Steve Thompson. And immediately he taps the table. That's a very sarcastic tap of the table for his own shot there, because that is a dreadful positional shot.
Yeah, he won't be happy with that one. But, you know, if Wade Morley does want to get through this, he's got to get his break working. He's had more dry breaks than successful ones, and that's something he's got to work on, or at least try and change some of the look about it.
It's a tidy safety shot there from Wade.
Ten seconds. Extension called.
As I said, Dan, both of these boys are up from North East. How much of a following is on the IPA tour that come from the North East?
Yeah, absolutely. A huge following. There are lots of boys from that area on the tour. I'm sure a few of them will be watching at the very least.
Yeah, one of our top pros, Mark Farnsworth. You'll see him in event 2 coming next month. He'll be one to watch out for. I mean, I thought that Mark would probably be second favourite, but Mark Boyle was second favourite at the start of tonight for the whole of the tournament. So I'm pretty sure that is going to change once again.
Oh, almost certainly.
10 seconds.
Very cagey opening frame, this one. Sort of the polar opposite to the beginning of our last match, really. Mark Boyle started off with a break dish and a reverse dish to fly into a 2-0 lead. This time there's plenty to be done in this frame before either one of these two will really fancy taking on the finish.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit like a chess game, this one, because none of them's going to want to open anything up. Because it's this first frame, it's just so important. It's so important to get off to a good start.
Yeah, we've said it before, but such short races, every frame becomes that much more important. How do you see this frame panning out, Mark? Do you think that of the two of them, I feel like Wade is the more
10
likely to
seconds.
have a go at a half chance? I think Steve's just got that bit more experience.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Wade's playing some lovely little touch shots, even in his first match he did. But that red ball next to that middle pocket, that's the ball that's going to be crucial to this frame, because that's what he can open up this bottom part of the table with.
And that is the ball that Steve Thompson is trying to stop him getting to. He's doing a good job of that so far.
But now that yellow has just been nudged
10
down with the
seconds.
two yellows in the bottom right hand corner. That one on the left hand side.
Extension called.
He can start moving some of these reds around as well. So Wade needs to be careful as well.
Well, that's an interesting development. Wade's decided that now is the time to try and make something happen. If he could manufacture an angle where he can take the furthermost north of those three reds in the bottom half of the table into the
10
bottom
seconds.
left, then there is a chance to get those out, but it's extremely tough.
Yeah, it is. I just feel that Wade was forced into potting that, just to try to make something different on there. Because now that yellow's come out in that bottom right-hand corner, Steve's got a chance.
Yeah, and he's got a couple of relatively nicely positioned balls of his own to try and get into that. Has he got enough on that he can go for that now? It's very tight.
Yeah, it's tight, but he's got the perfect ball here to get position on this yellow. You don't want to go too far, otherwise he'll miss this and go through the gap. Can he just hit enough of this yellow to get it out? Is he going to play a containing shot? You might see a containing shot. He's going for it.
He's going for it. How's it come out? Oh, that's dreadful. He left it a bit too thin, didn't he, Mark? And he lost the control that he might have had. Was it a bit thicker?
Yeah, I mean, he got his problem yellow out, but look where that yellow is on that cushion with that black ball. And he hadn't even got a pot on here, I don't think. He needs to be careful. That
10
clock
seconds.
is ticking down.
Well, Steve Thompson tried to make something happen. Not for the first time tonight. It didn't work. And Wade Morley comes back to the table. You have to say it's one straight shot.
10 seconds.
It's a long one. But from there on out, those reds don't look too bad at all.
Yeah, they don't, but he had a tough opening pot. Where's the black ball going? I think that
Oh,
still
he'll be
goes.
delighted with that.
I think it still
Do you
goes
reckon?
down. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you might have a better view than me, but
But what a clearance this would be if he got these. I mean, he needs to make his mind up. I mean, with only 3 yellows left, I think he's got no option. There's no safety shot for him. He needs to take these
10
on.
seconds.
He's going to be under some time pressure.
well, safety it is. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm not entirely convinced that was the right option. Can Wade see the furthermost left of his reds? Because he's got a bit of a shot to nothing if he can. I'm guessing he can't.
10 seconds.
So a return safety. Oh, but has he left a gap up to the one in the top left? That's a big error from Wade Morley if he has.
It looks close, doesn't it? He's got a little bit of swerve though. He's queuing
seconds.
up on this ball. I mean, even this shot. I mean, he's going to be leaving
Doesn't like
Wade a
it.
pot on here.
I think he's covered the middle. There's a bit of a thin snick back to the top right. Cue ball's going to be careering into the red above the black. And there was no guarantee that was going to come out nicely. And it couldn't have come out much worse, actually. Can he find the safety though, Mark? Can he get the cue ball in
10
behind
seconds.
the two reds that he's looking at now?
I don't think he could snooker him on all three of them balls because there was yellows pretty much in every direction. But what does Steve do now? He's got to make a decision sooner or later, and he's going to have to take these on. He can't keep playing safe. I know he can play off this yellow just and leave him on top of that red.
10 seconds.
But he needs to be careful.
Yeah, this cue ball's going very close to that top left pocket. It's a pretty good return. You can understand why he's waiting for a better opportunity.
Well, looking on one of the camera angles that I can see, he can get through to this red into the bottom right-hand corner.
10 seconds.
Oh, that's magnificent. That is a very, very good pot. Positionally, though, it still leaves a bit to be desired. There's a huge amount of work on for Wade Morley to finish from here.
Yeah,
Is this a shot to nothing? Can he get the cue ball in behind the red and take the plant on?
well, there's your answer, Dan. He can't, and he's played that plant lovely. A dead weight. It's exactly how he played it. He's now got this one in the right middle. I mean, has he got the right angle just to get back? Or is he going to have to leave a thin snip? He'd love to come back to this side
10
cushion.
seconds.
It's going to be the thin snip.
It is. Is it going to be the double? We've seen Wade so far take on 3 or 4 doubles in this match. In this group. And he got all of them against... He got every double he went for against Mark Boyle. No, it is the thin one. This is so tough.
But he's played that really well. He's playing some good stuff now. And that last match against Mark Boyle, Wade Morley has got some confidence. And then, are we going to see another outsider get through to stage 2? He looks like he's going to hit a bit of form.
Well, he's certainly got Mark Boyle worried, I can tell you, because, like you say, the way he's playing, he just looks like he belongs on this stage, Mark.
Frame.
It took some time, but Wade Morley takes the very first frame of this match. Now we can see the table there, Mark, in front of us. Tom Barley still top of the pile at the moment. Can he finish the evening there? There is so much more pool still to be played.
Frame 2. Steve Thompson to break, trailing 1 frame to nil. Time running.
Good Lord. That's some hit. Let's have another look at that. They have absolutely exploded. But look at where that black's finished up. You get the feeling, Mark, that it's not
Extension
necessarily going to be Steve Thompson's night after a break like that. Because even if he can manufacture an angle to get that black out, if he hits the red, it's going to be close to going in, isn't it? Well, it's a very good first shot. But the second one was not what Snakey needed. And the blade, Wade Morley, approaches the table in the second frame. But Steve's been a little bit lucky there. He's missed that by quite a way, but still covered the pocket for one of Wade's reds. This isn't a natural
10
finish.
seconds. Ten seconds.
Oh, there was a little look to the heavens there from Wade Morley. He's played a very good shot. Red off the yellow to clear the pocket. But where's he left himself? He's not on anything, I don't think. There's a potential for a double. I spoke about it in the last frame. His doubles have been very good in this match.
Extension called.
Can he snick this one? He's looking at into the bottom right. It's a very thin cut. Double it is. But nothing doing for Wade Morley. He turns the table back over. Can Steve Thompson find a bit of form here? It still isn't easy on these yellows. That one on the left-hand side.
10
That
seconds.
may be easier as a double. Glorious opening pot. He never quite had the right angle. This is about as tough as a pot gets on a pool table. I'll tell you what, he's absolutely nailed it. Steve Thompson, take a bow. That's a great shot. And he knocks in the black
Frame.
to boot. It's 1-1. Steve Thompson getting himself back into the match. Oh, fantastic finish from Snakey in the end after a little bit of hard work.
that's exactly how Steve can play. He does play some good stuff at times, and what a great clearance. I mean, that yellow, but was it 2 out of 10? It was a tough one.
Frame
Yeah,
3.
2 out of 10 for a top
Wait, Morley to
professional as
break.
well. That was a
Scores
quality
are tied,
shot.
1 frame all. Time running.
His dry break again. This is going to cost him. He's finding everything so tough tonight, Wade is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a measure of his class that he's still managing to, you know, fight against the tide, because, like you say, not a lot has gone his way so far, even in the Mark Boyle match, really.
Just looking at Steve Thompson, he's got an extra bounce in his step. Well, an extra skip anyway.
That was a huge finish in the previous frame, and it was just what the doctor ordered for Steve.
10 seconds.
Yeah, and all these reds down. It looks like they've all got pockets, especially if you can get through to this in the bottom right now. It looks like he can. And these reds are pretty much a formality.
They certainly should be. But we have seen Steve Thompson make hard work of a couple of easy finishes tonight. And again, just there, he's just gone out of prime position. He's still okay, but that wasn't where he wanted that cue ball. Recovered the situation nicely, though.
Yeah, don't want to do too much with this cue ball now. Just needs to stun this in, and he's going to be perfect. And he's going to take a 2-1 lead.
Frame.
2-1 lead for Snakey. Steve Thompson leads Wade Morley. And Wade, really, you feel, Mark, needs to win these last 3 frames if he's going to make the most of that draw he managed to scrape against Mark Boyle previously.
Yeah, he could do, but we've already seen him win the last 3 frames in his previous match. So, but Steve Thompson, he wants to get a point on the board, and he's in a good position to
Frame
do that
4.
now.
Steve Thompson to break, leading 2 frames to 1. Time running.
Now, a look to the heavens for Steve Thompson. That is not what he needed right now. Like you just said, Mark, a good chance to get a point on the board. But immediately, Wade Morley springs out of his seat
Extension called.
and studies this table from the dry break. Pretty good split as well.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's the 3rd dry break in this match out of 4. Where's the white ball? He's got away with that. Hand of apology up to Steve there.
Big hand of apology from Wade. He really did get away with that. Just needs to pick these reds off now. And the black's awkward, isn't it? That
10 seconds.
couldn't be in a much worse position.
No, they couldn't. But you know, if this match does go to 2-2, who is going to be the favourite then? I mean, Steve Thompson, he hasn't got a point on the board yet. Wade Morley, he's going to feel a bit better about himself, especially playing Mark Boyle first one.
Yeah, I think this is a must-win for Steve. Really, it's a sort of a must-not-lose for Wade. A draw wouldn't hurt him as much as it would Steve. Fractionally short with the cue ball there. If he was a bit straighter on this red, these last three would be a formality, but he's just running a bit further than he'd like here.
Yeah, that was running a little bit wild, that white. I think, does this go into the bottom right? Because if it does, it'll make things a hell of a lot easier. But that black, that's a nervy one. If that's going to be, if you can get on that down the cushion.
Well, he's taking a good look. He thinks it goes to the bottom right, Mark. Very close, very close. He didn't sneak past the yellow. And what do you make of the table now? It looks to me like a pretty clear table for yellows. I know there's those three on the right, but on the left rather. But I think the left-hand two of those are a nice plant. That would open it right up.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to take this next. Well, he hasn't really got any other option, to be honest. He needs to take this now. And the good thing about this is yellow is going to sort of just drift down the table a little bit, and then it will be available into the left centre as well.
I think the worst part for Wade is where that red's ended up, because this isn't a formality for Steve. That black is awkward, but if Steve does miss the black, there's every chance he covers the pocket for Wade's last red.
Yeah, I thought he had a bit more angle with that plant, but it seemed to be quite straight. You don't want that yellow in. He needs to keep that there. Now he could even use that as his last ball now, the one over the right centre. He's going to have options here. Well, depending on how he sees it. He's got to hold himself
Right,
together
Mark.
here.
Taking on the trickier pot now, in order to leave himself that yellow as his last ball, because it is the perfect ball to drop on the black. That was always going to be a problem was dropping on the black. There was nothing really close to the ideal angle, but now that yellow's found its way over to that right centre pocket, it makes life so much more easy.
Yeah, and he just needs, has he got an angle on this yellow that's going to go into the left centre? I think he's got a slight one, not as much as he wanted, but I think he should be okay. Looking at that angle there, he's fine.
Yeah, just force the cue ball through. In drops the yellow, so this, the biggest shot of the night for Steve Thompson.
Frame.
And that is that. Steve takes a 3-1 lead. He's one frame from victory. Wade Morley needs to win the last two to salvage a draw, just as he did against Mark Boyle. Let's have a look at the black down the rail to win the frame. Couldn't have been it much sweeter, Mark.
No, he couldn't, and that's exactly what he wanted. I'll tell you one interesting fact really about this group now, because normally when we're into the third match there is one player leaving the tournament, but in this group not one of these players is going to be leaving the tournament after this
Frame
match.
5. Wade Morley to break. Trailing
No,
3
very
frames to
true.
1. Time running.
The group is still wide open.
But it's another dry break for Wade Morley. It's 3 on the bounce for him in this match. What has he left Steve here?
I did wonder if he might switch to the cut break, because I've seen that be quite successful so far tonight. The front ball break,
Extension
less
cool.
so. I mean, you're in the venue, Mark, so you've got a better idea of how things are going on behind the scenes. Do the other players watch the other matches?
Yeah, so just downstairs, we've got another TV set up, and the players are watching it very closely and listening to everything you're saying about them, Dan. So you can't keep anything a secret.
Well, they're all lovely people, and I'd like them to know that I think
It's a bit
that.
late now. They've got banners. They've got banners downstairs saying "Dan Fairway out." I don't know what that means, but could be a short career for you.
Oh,
How many
it
kidding?
already has been. So, well, this is interesting. Steve has obviously looked at that red in the balk area and decides that it goes. It looks pretty tight on that yellow. A little bit of work here for our ref, Ben Taylor Fuente. It was tight, wasn't it, Mark? And he's caught too much of the red. I'm not entirely sure that went.
Yeah, I think he just tried to swing it in with right-hand side, but it just didn't connect it well enough. It's like he sort of miscued it as well a little bit. I mean, he got a little bit of spin on it, but not enough to take the red into the pocket.
10 seconds.
But you're probably going to see Wade just clear this top right-hand
Extension
pocket. Is
call.
he going to put this in the top left and try and clear that red in the top right?
Well, Wade Morley's match against Mark Boyle. Mark looked for all the world like he was going to take a simple victory. He left him a sniff in the 4th frame. He left him a sniff in the 5th frame, and Wade took both of them. There's a similar feel to this. Steve Thompson has just left Wade a half chance. It's not easy. It's messy. It's tricky. But if he can take it out, I wouldn't put another draw past.
No, definitely not. Because this yellow just past this red. Needs that to travel a bit more. Is he on anything? I don't think he is. It was like a nothing shot he was playing there. I'm not really sure what he was trying to play. I think he was trying to get the yellow out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't see anything obvious, Mark. I can't really see a double.
10 seconds.
Is he
Is
looking
he
at
looking at a
reverse,
back treble?
reverse double treble? It is. Huge shot.
It's a reverse treble. Cover the pocket. Oh, has it? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of room there just to come off the jaw. This is your chance now, Steve Thompson, to get 2 points on the board.
10 seconds.
Steve Thompson needs this match, a 4-1 win. Keeps his hopes alive in this year's Champions Cup. It would also keep his hopes alive of a best second place finish, because it would give him the chance to win his last match 4 frames to 0, which would put him equal with Andy Crosdale.
Yeah, and this looks a formality now. He's back in this group. This group is wide open.
And that may just put a shiver down the spine of Mr. Magic himself, Mark Boyle, as well, because this is going to leave all permutations open, and it's going to leave Steve Thompson hungry for success against the Scotsman. A fantastic performance against Wade Morley. Wade's break letting him down again. That's 6 dry breaks out of 6 for Wade now. Our referee leaves the table, leaves the arena. Steve Thompson, a 4-1 winner over Wade Morley. Let's see what the boys in the studio have to say about that one.
Well, the bookies got that right, didn't they? Steve Thompson was favourite. He wasn't a favourite in my eyes before, but he's come through it, you know, in style as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, certainly has 4-1 win. That's got him in this group. Normally, I'm saying one of the players are going home right after this third match, but it's not. It's wide open. This group is anybody's.
Yeah, it could be a late night tonight as well, putting it on the Porto, because all the matches here are really taking a bit of time as well. But our next match here, Mark Barley, Barley, really and truthfully, he's going to be favourite, Mark Boyle. I think we've looked at it earlier. He was going to be, where was it, 8-11, and Tom Barley's going to be about 11 of or a 3-1 chance. This is going to be close. Tell you what we do, we'll be back in 3 minutes.
Thank you, gents. When you're ready, please lag for break.
Want betting on the races to be anything but flat? You're on.
Tom Barley wins the lag.
So close, and you just wonder, this match, all kinds of permutations, and I'm very happy to be joined by Mark Worth, who's made his way from the pundit seat to the commentary box. And Mark, this match, I've got a feeling it's going to be a lot closer than some people might think.
Yeah, it is. And this group has all of a sudden got all a lot closer than a lot of people thought it would do. I'm really not sure which way this is going to go, to be honest. Either this match or the whole of the group.
And if you're Steve Thompson, who just played a great match against
Champions
Wade
Cup
Morley
Group D,
there, sitting
match
in
4.
the
Best of 6 frames.
back down in the
First frame, Tom Barley's
practice
break.
area.
Time running.
Who do you think he's cheering for in this match?
Well,
Or would he like to see it?
yeah, I think, I mean, a draw would suit all of them. I think, because obviously Tom has already got a win and Mark's got a draw. They probably don't want to see Tom get the win here. They need a draw.
This match is gonna open a lot of eyes. On a dry break from Tom to
10
kick things off here.
Extension.
And Mark
call.
knows he let his first match slip away. 3-0. He led Wade Morley, only to be seen to be pegged back in a 3-3 draw. Secured 1 point, but that wasn't what he wanted.
No, it wasn't, but he needs to bounce back. He needs to get back into this group, and only a win can really do that for him.
Great opening shot from Mark there. Let's lay the foundation now. Opportunity for a clearance. It's not easy. But then there are.
Yeah, so currently Steve Thompson's in second place on 2 points. And Tom Barley is right at the top on 2 points.
You can see Mark's eyes darting around from red to red. He'd love to get that top red out of the way and get back down to the
10
business
seconds.
end where the 3 are. But everything's available. This is all about cue ball control.
Yeah, it is, but it's really important that he leaves himself. He can cannon into this red, but you normally see your top players. They don't like cannon into balls, but has that come out okay? I don't think it has. I think when he clips this in, he's going to be cannoning into them 2 yellows.
Ten seconds.
Well, that was the danger. And they can still get through to that 1 red top right, but position to the last red, tricky at best.
Yeah, when he put his cue on the table there, I think he's playing for that gap in between the 2 yellows to pot the
10
red.
seconds.
I mean, ideally, probably, well, I don't think the red that's in the middle of the table goes into the bottom left. What's he going to try here? He's trying the gap.
Well, it's close. What a brave shot that was. Had to be
Total
inch
snooker.
perfect. Yeah, and he can't get through. Referee has just awarded a total snooker, so
10 seconds.
brave effort. He's falling short. Now he needs a trace of luck.
Has he had it? I mean, can he get through to the one in the bottom right-hand corner? Has he left a pot on? It's hard to see on the camera angle I've got. I think he can get through the gap.
By the way, then Tom played his first match against Steve Thompson, a 4-1 win. Opportunities like this, he cashed them in every time.
Yeah, he did. And he don't look like he's going to be hanging about long to be cashing in on this clearance either.
That's one thing about playing pool at this level. Toughest opponent is yourself. There's only ever one player at the table. He's got to lasso your nerve and all those hours of practice. Letting that back arm get that cue straight through the white. That's what you rely on.
Frame.
Like that. Man takes the black and secures the first frame. And Tom looking strong yet again.
Yeah, it is. As you can see there, look. So Tom Barley's top on 2 points. He's only played one match as well. And plus he's on a +3 average. Wade Morley on a -3-1.
Tom definitely in the driver's seat.
Frame 2. Mark Boyle to break. Trailing 1-0. Time running.
Yeah, but a Mark Boyle win will take him top of the group. And then it will be in his own hands.
Yeah, he's using that cut break. And he actually broke very well in his first match. Pulling that cue ball over to the side cushion.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of skill and
Extension
cue ball
call.
control to hit them balls that hard on that side ball. If anybody tries that at home, you'll be straight off the table.
Down just below 20 seconds, our shot clock. 30-second shot clock. Each player allowed one
10
extension per.
These are very difficult. I mean, that yellow on that side cushion. He's going to have to do a bit of work to get that out.
10 seconds.
Ask and ye shall receive. Just like that. He's just matured this situation into one of some promise. He's very creative, and he tends to get after the problem areas right away, which always leaves you a few more options if they don't go exactly as planned, but that one did.
Sure about that one though. I don't think that's gone right. Can he get through to that furthest away yellow? Does he? Can he see enough of it? If he can, I think he's been quite fortunate. He's probably got to play this for a better run inside.
Yeah, careless. He had done all the hard work in that frame. And once again, he's let Tom Barley back to the table.
Yeah, and this race to 4 format,
10 seconds.
There's a lot of pressure on every frame.
Foul. One free shot, one visit, time running.
Anything but that.
So yeah, one free shot, one visit. Where's that black gone?
Loss of frame.
What has he done there?
Oh, that's lost a frame. I'm not exactly sure what Mark was trying to do there, but that couldn't have gone more wrong. 2-0. Tom Barley. Look at it again. I'm really not sure what he was trying to do, Mark, but that had to always be on the cards.
Yeah, playing it at that pace, it was, well, there was always, like you said, always had that chance of it going, and what a mistake that is. How much is that going to cost Mr. Magic now? Because you feel, if he loses this to Tom Barley, Mark Boyle can't get through. Because Tom Barley will be on 4 points,
Yeah.
Mark Boyle will be on 1.
Time running.
And Tom out of his chair. Can't wait to get at this frame.
Foul.
Well, cue ball once again. Same corner pocket. It
One
invited
shot.
it in the last
One
frame.
visit.
So a chance for
running.
Mark.
Yeah, that was a huge break, but loose white, there was a chance of it being kicked in off. So Mark just needs to really recover from that error in the last frame.
Got to steady the ship. He's got all the
10
experience. He's a proven winner, this man. And one of the toughest aspects of playing pool at this elite level is staying positive, staying in the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to have to do a lot with the cue ball now. He's had this on a little bit of string. He's threading this nicely.
Just a little more difficult than he would have liked. Hampered cueing. And then a great recovery.
Yeah, he's back in prime position now. Just pretty much an easy draw back. He'll have a simple black into the right centre to get back into this match. And it'll be his break next.
Frame.
Well, he's turned it around. A careless break from Tom Barley, affording Mark Boyle the opportunity, and Mr. Magic provided the rest. 2-1 still. Tom just in front, but Mark the break. Frame number 4.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some stats on Mark Boyle's break in this competition. He is 100% record pot success. So there's only going to be one outcome in this next frame, isn't there?
Frame 4. Mark Boyle to break, trailing 2 frames to 1. Time running.
Well, we'll see that cut break again, Mark. Pull it over to the right-hand cushion as we look.
Been working for him so far. Where's the white ball?
Foul.
Well, he repays the
One free
favor.
shot. One visit.
Legislate for
Time
something
running.
like that happening. Cue ball kicked in, just as it was to Tom Barley in the preceding frame. But what an opportunity for Tom here.
Can he hold himself together? If he takes this frame, him getting through the group will be in his own hands. We'll put him on at least 3 points. So he's on it just a little bit out of position here. I think he's only got the cut back.
One thing you have to like about watching Tom as he makes his way around the table is he gets on with it. No wasted movement, no wasted time.
No, he doesn't. But sometimes you'll just see these sort of errors. Left himself hampered queuing now. Just a little bit careless. He's got sort of 2 balls over the bag. Needs to be careful with this one. He's left himself a pot. But that white ball, can he control it? He's going to be doing some travelling.
Big shot here. Big moment.
Frame.
And Tom Barley has secured at least 1 point here. 3-1, he leads the favorite, Mark Boyle. He has played some pool. And what a time he's picked to do it. And he breaks as he steadies himself, grabs his break cue. Frame 5. He's hoping it's going to be the last.
Yeah, he just needs to hold himself together now. 1 more frame and he will be
Frame 5.
pretty much through to the
Barley to
next
break.
stage.
Leading 3 frames to 1. Time running.
Just a little bit of pull left yet.
Foul. One free shot.
Amazing.
1 visit.
That
Time running.
player can keep that cue ball on the table.
I know, but that cue ball, when he drew it back, it was always close to that top left-hand corner, and it was always inevitable for it to be kicked in off. Now then, Mark Boyle, what can you do here?
10
You
seconds.
must take this frame,
Extension cool.
and it'll be your break next. Is there going to be another draw in this group?
You can't afford any more mistakes.
10 seconds.
mean, even if Mark Boyle does get the draw, I mean, getting through to the next stage is pretty much out of his hands.
And the man that was the runner-up last year to Gareth Hibbett, well, his fate out of his hands. Apart from here. He's eyeing up that tricky yellow next to the red.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to play it now. He can just drop this in the top right and leave himself the right angle on this one. This is his tricky yellow, but what's he done with that? Can he get this white out? Or is it going to stick to the red? Can he just push this red out the way enough? Big shot. You've got to say, Jim, if he takes these out, he's showing nerves of steel.
Well, we've seen it from him in the past. He's got a ton of heart.
Frame.
And he's brought it to the 6th frame. A crucial one for him. And he knows he'll break in it. 3-2 still to Tom Barley, but Boyle, the biggest frame of the event to this stage for him, upcoming.
His break needs to be better than last time. He went in that middle pocket last time. He needs to keep the white on the table.
And that'll be your next match. Upcoming right after this one, Wade Morley and Tom Barley. Well, he'll stay on the
6th
table.
and final frame.
And he
Mark
wants
Boyle
to
to
take
break.
all that
Turning 3
positive
frames to 2.
juice with him.
Time running.
And down to Mark Boyle right now to glue him to his chair. Yeah, what a great break. And what a time for it.
Yeah, it is. I feel like he's got to probably take the triple ball plant on first for the Reds. But he'll be working it out. There's only one man that'll know. It will be Mark Boyle. But if he can get that triple ball plant to pop the red in the bottom right-hand corner, them Reds are wide open.
10 seconds. Extension called.
Key shot for me, this one, Jim.
Yeah, I think he knows it too. Mark, he knows he's got to take it on.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the overhead camera
10
that we can
seconds.
see that it's no formality, this isn't. This has got to be made.
So much pressure out there.
Yeah, there certainly is. And Mark Boyle knows 1
10
miss
seconds.
and he is out of this Champions Cup 2022. Little wee smile on his face there, but I can feel the pressure in the comms box. I'm not sure if you can feel the pressure at home there, Jim.
Well,
Cut the tension with
I'm
a
a
knife.
ways away from where you are, but I can tell you, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
bet there's people at home glued to the TV sets, because this is what a group this has been.
Mark, this is why we watch this game. Moments like this. People love seeing other people under pressure. Just the nature of, well, it's human nature, isn't it? They love to see other people perform when the heat is on.
Yeah, definitely a lot of heat on the table. I mean,
10
God,
seconds.
this is looking very edgy, but this should be dot to dot for Mark Boyle. But in these circumstances, anything can happen. He's just got to hold himself together. 3 balls to get the draw. Give him a fighting chance to get through to this next stage.
Well, would you believe it? Mark Boyle has played 2 matches, and he's got 2 draws.
Frame. Match is drawn, 3 frames all.
And there you go. 6 frames played. Point for each of these players. Tom Barley definitely in the driver's seat. Mark Boyle's fate may be well and truly out of his hands at this moment, but still so much to play for. Upcoming, Wade Morley and Tom Barley, well, they'll be front and center. And my co-commentator, Mark Pickworth, has made his way back into the studio, and let's hear what he's got to say with Gary Wilshire.
All on Tom Barley now next match, isn't it, really? You know, after what if he just gets one, well, if he wins it, he's win the group, isn't he, Mark?
Yes, he has, yeah, without a doubt. But Mark Boyle, it's made this group edgy now. I can't wait for the next one, to be honest.
If Mark wins the last match and he finishes up with 4 points, could he go through?
Yeah, you can. It's all on the. He needs to win 4-0 to stand any chance to get one of them runners-up spots.
4-0.
Yeah, but he's got a chance.
And also, we don't know what's going to happen here with Wayne Morley. If Wade Morley turns over the favourite here, Tom Barley, then he can still win. He can win the group, can't he?
Yeah, Wade Morley can still win. Yeah, of course he can.
Well, Mark Boyle can win.
Everyone can win.
Everyone can win, right?
Thompson's not out of it yet.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? I'll tell you what we do. We'll come back in about 3 minutes for, well, could be the classic.
Right, gents, when you're ready, please lag for break.
Crucial match upcoming. Tom Barley.
Barley wins the lag.
He can decide it all, and that was about as easy a leg as he'll ever win. And Dan Fairway has made his way back into the commentary box to join me. And Dan, I know you watched that last match on the sidelines. This one now could clear the path.
Yeah, I've raided the Christmas biscuits and got a new battery for my calculator. And, well, this is still anyone's group. Wade can still win this. I think Wade needs a 4-0 victory here to stand any chance of winning the group, and he can't be one of our best runners-up at this stage, so Wade really needs every
Champions
frame
Cup,
here.
Group D, match 5, best of 6 frames. First frame, Tom Barley to break. Time running.
If Tom
And by
Barley
contrast,
fails...
Tom Barley, he's got the controls in his hand of his own fate, doesn't he? Look at that.
Foul.
He has, but isn't that a cruel blow that fate has just dealt him? It's a
One
good
free
break,
shot.
this.
One visit.
He's hit them well.
Time running.
The cue ball well controlled, coming back down the middle of the table and kicked off into the centre pocket. And yeah, Mark Boyle and Steve Thompson will be watching this, and they will be desperately hoping that Wade Morley can turn over Tom Barley, or at least claim a draw, because that keeps both their hopes alive going into the final match. It's a fascinating group.
Well, in the last match, they had a lot of trouble keeping the cue ball on the table following the break. And Tom Barley, that really, he was 3-1 ahead at one stage. It proved his undoing. And he's kind of carried that right
10
through
seconds.
this match here against Wade.
Extension called.
Yeah, Tom, well, how much is that going to hurt Tom? Because Tom's sat in his seat at the moment thinking, if I just got over the line against Mark Boyle, then he wouldn't have been through, but he'd have been a lot closer than he is now. Now he needs a result. He needs to beat Wade to guarantee it. A draw could still be enough for him, but anything less, and well, his fate's out of his own hands. He wouldn't necessarily be out even with a loss, but there's just so many permutations in this group at the moment. One thing's for certain though, it looks very much like Wade Morley's going to take a 1-0 lead, and that is exactly what he needs.
Just got to be a little careful here.
Yeah, played it the sensible way, leave a bit of distance. The black's over the pocket, so just make sure you can hit it. There shouldn't be any issues.
Frame.
No issues in frame one. Wade Morley takes the first one. He'll break in frame number 2. As you've already noted, Dan, he really needs to win this match 4-0 to give himself a chance.
Yep.
You can see the table, how it's all unfolding right now. You can see Tom is definitely in the driver's seat in this table.
Yeah, in a big way, but he, like I say, he needs to win
Frame
this
2.
really. If he doesn't win
Morley
this,
break. Leading 1 frame to 0. Time running.
still a chance, but it's going to be very tough. Wade Morley, before that break, you won't have seen that at home, but he just punched the air in celebration because that is the first time he's made a ball off the break, and that's his 7th break of the night. And what a time to make it. He's hit those pretty well as well, Jim. These have come out quite nicely. Those yellows look relatively inviting.
10 seconds.
Yeah, even the trickiest yellow. For me, the one nearest the middle of the table, the bottom end as we look, you can easily drop onto that one from the other yellow.
Yeah, the one to the left of the black spot. It doesn't go to the bottom left, but like you say, it doesn't matter because he's got that one to the left of it. It's an easy shot. Stun that in, screw it back a little bit, drop it in. It affords lovely position on that tricky ball. That cue ball needs to slow down. Oh, has it slowed down in time? That is very close.
He's having a second look at this.
You've got to be careful here. Sometimes you can convince yourself a ball goes when it doesn't.
Extension called.
Because you want it to, not because it does.
And because you can't admit to yourself that you just played a bad shot.
Well, there's a bit of side on this. He's actually over swerved it. It's not the worst result in the world though. What's Tom got here? Not a lot really. Can he weld the cue ball in behind that other red? Nope. It's just a containing safety. But there is an aggressive option on here for Wade. He could play the cue ball off the yellow and into that red. It's almost certain to pop the yellow over the pocket. The only real worry about this shot is where the yellow he's hitting first ends up. And he would take that every day of the week. That needs to run. Oh. Does this yellow go up to the top right? I think it does.
Well, this might be one of those, like you said, he wants it to go.
I think that one does, but this last yellow is going to be a little thinner than he'd like. He needs to bring the cue ball back. He needs to avoid that red, really, on the right-hand side. And he needs to slow it down in time. He couldn't avoid the red. Couldn't get round the back of it. Can he cut this in? It's so thin.
He's got no choice, Dan. He has to try and cut this into the side.
He doesn't want to hit that red on the bottom cushion either. That could see an in off. And he's overcut it, has he? Is it going to drop? No, it's not.
You never would have thought he was going to overcut that.
I suspect,
What?
Jim, that's
A let
exactly what... That'll be exactly what he's thinking. How on earth have I overcut that? And really, the simplest of counter clearances for Tom Barley. That is such a massive thing for him in the context of the match, in the context of the group. The difference between 2-0 and 1-1 cannot be understated.
Yeah, big red there. And 1-1 it is.
Frame.
What a let-off.
As long as I've done my sums right, Jim, that pretty much seals Wade's fate. I think the only way he can qualify now, and I'm not even sure if that's possible, would be if he won the remaining 3 of this, and then there was a 3-all draw between Mark and Steve, because that would leave everyone on 3 points. But I don't even think he'd have the frames to do it.
Well, it was certainly a frame that Wade Morley had at its mercy.
Frame 3. Tom Barley to break. Scores are tied, 1 frame all. Time running.
But what could have been, now the man of the moment, Tom Barley. See if he can keep the cue ball on the table. Well, he let off a little bit there, and then he's got a few. Or maybe he's found the secret of the break.
Potentially, yeah, like you say, he certainly took a fair bit off that in terms of power. The problem is, it's not quite the same split that we've seen a few times this evening. It's a little bit clustered in the left-hand side of the table. But he does have the opportunity. If he can pot this red and break that other red out, then this is a golden chance. He got into the cue ball a bit too much. And now that is a very difficult ball to break open.
Now, does he have the angle on this red? He's got to try and get over there. Well, he's giving himself a chance.
It is a chance. If it goes into the left centre, it's a very good chance. If it doesn't, Wade still has a fair bit of hope. And it doesn't, so he's played on it now. This is a hugely tough shot. Given the situation, given the pressure Tom Barley is currently under, this red is extremely missable.
Foul.
And he's misjudged
You know, that cue ball
Free
was
shot.
going to
visit.
carry him into the
Side
yellow,
running.
and it was always tracking towards that side pocket. I think he tried to avoid the contact, or at least a thicker contact, but for me, it was always going to be
Timeout.
tracking towards that center pocket.
Used it.
And that's just an error in
Timeout.
judgment from Tom Barley.
Agreed, Jim. I do wonder, given the shot clock pressure, you know, he's only got 30 seconds to make his mind
10
up.
seconds.
I think whichever way he played that, he was going close to that centre pocket, and I do sort of wonder if he just decided to take a chance on it.
Well, there will be no way that either one of these players know where they stand right now. They're just playing one ball, one frame at a time. And they'll look at the score sheet after the match is done.
Yeah, it's such a tight group. I do think that Wade is probably out of it at this stage, but he may not know that. And I may be wrong. There's a huge number of
10
permutations.
seconds.
But there is also our third event to play for, so he's not necessarily completely out of it. Even if he's out of event 1, the top 24 of all of our players will go through to play in event 3. So there's still something to play for here for Wade. And a win here would go a long way to cementing a place in that third event.
Well, he's going to take a 2-1 advantage over Tom Barley here.
Frame.
And living in the moment right now. Wade Morley, the amateur in the event, hopefully soon to be a pro. 2-1 in front.
Yeah, I think he'll almost certainly be a pro. 4th at the moment in the amateur rankings. He's a very talented cueist. I just wonder whether Steve Thompson and Mark Boyle's heart rates may have gone up just a notch after seeing Wade take that frame. If he can get one more in this match, then they're still alive in the tournament.
Frame 4. Wade Morley to break, leading 2 frames to 1. Time running.
We've seen a couple favorites go by the wayside already in this Champions Cup. And certainly Mark Boyle was a huge favorite to progress out of this group. He's not out of it yet. He's got one foot out the door and the other one on a banana peel.
10 seconds.
Yep, he needs Wade to take another frame to keep it in his own hands. As does Steve Thompson. Let's not count him out just yet. They will be playing in our last match of the evening. Yet another dry break for Wade Morley, though. And that's not what any of the other 3 players wanted to see. Tom's really impressive the way he's played tonight. He's looked incredibly assured. And just as I say that, that is an error. Positionally, he's still on the yellow just above the cue ball. Well, does this yellow pass to the bottom right? It didn't look like it to me. He had half a pocket and he made the most of it.
Yeah, very accurate cueist is Tom Barley.
frame.
And great example of how fast he can go through the balls. Just like that, he's tied it up. 2 apiece against Wade Morley. Tom Barley, definitely the favorite to progress through this group now.
Yeah, in a big way. He's not completely there yet. The draw would still see Steve and Mark battle it out, but I believe one of them would need to win 4-0 to overhaul Tom.
Frame 5. Tom Barley to break. Scores are tied, 2 frames all. Time running.
Well, one thing about it, they're both in the practice room, probably with a pen and paper and a calculator. So they'll know exactly, when this match finishes, they'll know exactly what they have to do.
Regardless of that, though, a 4-0 for either of them would actually put them second in, well, essentially joint top of the best second place finishers with just 2 groups left to play. So still all to play for in that last match. But there could be even more to play for yet, because Tom Barley doesn't look like he's in perfect position for this finish at all. Oh,
He's
that's
tried
so
to move
unlucky.
that yellow twice now.
That may have been his last opportunity to do so as well, Jim. He's looking at a double now. Oh, it's a wonderful shot. It's not getting any easier.
But he's staying at the table. And one good yellow here. He has made some tremendous finishes already, and this one might be top of the list.
Completely agree. Couldn't agree more. This has been superb from Tom Barley. Like you say, he had that tricky yellow on the left-hand side. Tried to move it a couple of times, but he found a way. And has he just found a way to mess it up? This is so much tougher than it could have been, this black. Oh, he has. He was.
It was.
He was so worried about the cue ball, Jim. You could see how much screw he got into that just to keep the cue ball away from that top right pocket. And now, what can Wade Morley do? Can he take his opportunity? Can he keep himself in with a chance of the win? He'd love to come out of tonight with a win on his record, even if he can't get through. He'd still love a win.
And that might be a black that Tom Barley might live to regret. That miss. Remember that one.
I think Wade was trying to move that red on the left-hand side with that shot. He's missed it by a distance. He's still at the table. It's in a really awful position, that red. It's difficult to land on nicely. It's about as hard a shot down the rail as you can get on a pool table.
Extension called.
I do wonder if he's got half a mind to just move it and leave the cue ball on the cushion there, because Tom wouldn't be able to cut that black back in, surely.
It's interesting to note, too, that, Mark Pickworth was talking about the draws really being some value bets in terms of these matches. Well, we've had 4 matches. 2 of them have been draws, and you almost have to think this is favorite to be.
Yeah, certainly looking along those lines at the moment. That's not
No,
quite
bit of
the
a mistake
contact
there.
He just wanted a fraction thinner contact, and that comes out lovely. The way it is now, if I were Wade, I'd still be tempted by a safety shot here. It's not the way he plays the game, but He's underdone that one. He could just run off this red and leave the cue ball in behind it. Okay, he's going to leave Tom a one cushion escape, but the black's close to the cushion. It's highly unlikely that he's going to pot it.
10 seconds.
No, I think I'd like to have left that right over the pocket, though.
Yeah, he would. That's an error. Tom can just swing the cue ball over to the right-hand side now. That's a very nice shot. Wade Morley, what do you do? Do you try and leave a difficult black? Do you just leave the cue ball over the left-hand side? Or do you go for a horribly tough double?
10 seconds.
Oh! Well, the result's going to be no different. He nearly potted the black, he nearly potted the cue ball. The only thing he didn't nearly pot was his own red.
Unbelievable. Went for the horribly tough double. From 3-2 to Tom Barley. One more frame to play. Tom has already assured himself that 1 point, the vital 1 point. But look at that. Just almost threw his cue at that one.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a last resort shot for Wade. For me, it was just a tactical error. The shot before, I think he could have played Thomas snooker, probably left his red in a better position than he did.
6th and final frame. Wade Morley to break. Trailing 3 frames to 2. Time running.
Well, he's put some venom into that break.
Yeah, did he ever?
You read my mind, Jim.
Yeah, another look at it.
Yeah, that yellow
wasn't leaving anything on the
top
table.
right. Not a bad chance on yellows, this. The one on the left-hand side. It might be easiest as a double. He's having a look at it now as if he might try to move it with this shot. That's not what he wanted to see. There's 3 or 4 times now in this match for me that Wade has gone to move a ball and missed it by plenty.
Well, he's left himself with no choice now. He's got to try and slither this yellow down that left-hand cushion. All or nothing.
Extension
this is
call.
such a huge shot, and it's not just a huge shot for Wade, it's also a huge shot for Steve Thompson and Mark Boyle, who will be sat watching this. They'll be sucking this one into the corner as well. That's wide. That's wide. It's not what anyone wanted to see except the man walking to the table now, Tom Barley. He's got a chance to put this match and this group to bed.
You just can't see him failing now. In his mind, has to know the win here puts him through.
Yeah, for sure. I cannot imagine that he hasn't looked at the table and the standings. That shot there really, for me, was the last thing that could go wrong. Tom Barley is on his victory lap. Just overrun that one a fraction. This isn't where he wanted this cue ball.
For the match and to secure a berth. Oh, would
no.
you believe it?
Well, you said he must know, Jim. He definitely knew, because Tom Barley doesn't miss that black in a month of Sundays unless there is a massive amount of pressure on it, and it's just shown there. The draw still could be enough.
P.
The draw could still be enough for Tom. It still leaves him in a good position, but not a great position. Not the position he will have wanted himself to be in when he got down to pot that black. But it's not over yet. Wade's still got to clear this up. And that black's gone a little bit awkward.
10 seconds.
Trying to drop on it in the centre. This looks perfect. Maybe an inch short of pace.
Frame. Match
Down
ball,
goes the
3 frames all.
black, and with it, yet another draw. Wade Morley, Tom Barley, by virtue of a missed black. 3 apiece, 1 point secured each. And what a turnaround that is. The last match to Steve Thompson and Mark Boyle, come on down.
Well, we've got to look at that last black, haven't we?
We certainly have. It was
Absolutely.
brilliant. Positional play was
wow, this is, how did he miss?
Yeah, Tom Barley, he definitely should have potted this.
Oh, so
He
much
popped
pressure
that
there.
10 out of 10 at his local club. But what a clearance there under pressure.
Just so much pressure,
Wade
isn't it?
Morley.
It's just absolutely. Oh, and so the last match here, what's going to happen, Mark?
Don't forget about my pickers picks that I won.
Oh, you got. Oh, well done, mate. Yeah.
From
well
a draw.
done, yeah, draw. Well
I said I was going to get one.
We've been waiting a long time for that one, haven't we? Tonight.
I'll quickly
What's
go
going
through
to happen
this.
here?
I'll
We've got
quickly
to do
go
it
through
quick.
this. Right, so Tom Barley's on 4 points and he's on +3 average. If Mark Boyle wins 4-0 or 4-1, he will finish top of the group on a +4 average or +3 because he's had most frames.
Right.
If Steve Thompson wins 4-0, he's through.
You don't want no more. Right, see you in 3 minutes.
Thank you, gents. When you're ready, please lag for break.
Well, the drama never stops. Our last match, Steve Thompson on the left, Mark Boyle on the right.
Steve Thompson wins the lag.
And the path is pretty clear. Mark Boyle has to win 4-0 or 4-1 to get through. Steve Thompson can only get through if he wins 4-0. So I wonder if both players know that. Were they in the practice room? Did they hear what Mark Pickworth said?
Scribbling away
I'm
frantically.
betting they did.
Yeah, I'm sure they were trying to work it out themselves. It's such a tight group. You got Tom Barley on the top, 4 points. It could be enough. He's got a frame
Champions
difference
Cup,
of
final match
+3.
of Group D, best of 6 frames. First frame, Steve Thompson to break. Time running.
But these two have got to go for it, and they've got to go for it in a big way. Oh, that's not the start Steve wanted, is it? Is that red going to drop in? It does. Well, I thought the cue ball was tracking in, and that somehow stayed out. And then right at last knockings, a red just drops in to the left centre. And it's left an opportunity for Snakey.
10 seconds.
as you said, Jim, he needs to win this match 4-0. There's no other option for him.
Yeah, a lot of tension in the arena, and I'm sure
Extension
a lot
call.
of fans at home. Fans of Steve, fans of Mark. Wonder if they have any fingernails left.
Normally such a jovial character, Snakey. He's a brilliant laugh. Always fun to be around. Enjoys a drink, has to be said. But never, you know, always very good with it. I don't think I've ever seen this kind of level of focus from him. He is studying that table. But his patterns have let him down a little bit tonight, more so than probably any other player.
Ten seconds.
Good cue ball there.
Yeah, that's an extremely tight positional shot. Of course, Steve, winning one frame isn't terminal for Mark Boyle. It actually raises some very interesting questions, because a 4-1 to Mark Boyle here.
10 seconds.
Would see Tom Barley and Mark Boyle exactly level on points, frames won and frames lost, and therefore frame difference. And I'm being told that if that does happen, we will have a sudden death black ball shootout.
Good shot there. And he's already weighed up the angle. Swing the cue ball off 2 cushions. And this long black.
Frame.
Oh, what a performance that one from Steve Thompson. Terrific. Securing the opening frame. And that absolutely clears the path now for a lot of thoughts. He's on course. Mark Boyle cannot lose another frame.
No, it's there's so much going on. But yeah, Mark Boyle needs all of them. Steve Thompson still needs all of them as well.
Frame 2.
Mark can
Mark
still
Boyle to
knock
break.
Steve out here
Trailing 1 frame
with a
to
break
0.
dish.
Time running.
And his break so far tonight has been exceptional.
No, Mark hasn't tasted defeat yet. The 2 matches that he's played both ended in draws with Wade Morley and Tom Barley.
Yeah, you have to say you'd be a little unlucky to go out of this competition having not lost a match, but then that would put Tom Barley in the same boat with 1 win and 2 draws, so it's just been an extraordinary group. We may not see this one this close ever again, honestly. This
10 seconds.
Mark is 3 reds and the black from knocking Steve out and keeping his own hopes alive. I'd love to know if Steve knows that. Because, you know, do you think he might ease off if he knows he's already out?
10 seconds.
Oh, I think there's still some professional pride at stake out there.
Yeah, I mean that's a very fair point, but there is always a different feel to something when you know it's a dead rubber for yourself, even if it isn't for your opponent. Professional pride isn't quite the same level of intensity, perhaps, as knowing you're still in with a chance.
Well, for me, Mark Boyle is the best break of all the players in this category, in this grouping. This break has really been lethal.
Yeah, without question. He's been phenomenal from the break.
Frame.
And actually, it's been a couple of loose shots here and there that let him down. But no loose shots in that frame. He pulls level. Steve Thompson now 1 apiece with Mark Boyle, and that sees Steve, unfortunately, well, he certainly won't be going through as a group winner, that's for sure.
Yeah, there you can see the table as it stands right now. Tom Barley, Mark Boyle, really they're the only two that factor into this one right now. You know, the Tom's sitting in the background, watching, probably still thinking about that missed black.
Scores are tied, 1 frame all.
This would have been a formality.
Time running.
But frame 3, and 1 apiece. Steve Thompson with the controls in his hand.
Oh, that cue ball was mightily close. That cue ball was so close to flying in, but it doesn't. And Steve Thompson, well, he could get his revenge here on Mark, because Mark knocked him out with that last break dish. Steve can knock Mark out with this one. And the reds are all there, and he's just manoeuvred himself onto the one next to the black, which was probably the trickiest one to get on.
Ten seconds. Extension called.
He must feel he's going to be able to get on better.
Well, there are so many permutations in this group and in this tournament, with the 2 best runners-up going through as well. And actually, Steve Thompson isn't out of this yet, Jim, because he could potentially take Jake Dillon Newlove's best second place spot, or second best second place spot if you like, with a 4-1 win still. So actually Snakey is still playing here to potentially
With
stay
purpose.
in the tournament. Yeah now
10 seconds.
there's so much to work out. I don't know if the players will know every single one of these potential score lines, potential ins, outs. But by definition, Mark Boyle is also playing for that.
Sure he is.
Although 4-2 may
Still
not be
gonna
enough
knock
for
this
Mark.
long red in.
Oh, this is such a tough black.
Bottom left.
Oh no!
It was far from
snaky.
easy.
It was far from easy. And this, if Mark Boyle can finish this, would spell an end to Steve Thompson's chance in the first event of this year's Champions Cup. Just a little flick on that yellow from Mr. Magic. I think he would have preferred a slightly fuller contact, but he'll be happy enough with that. The blacks come out into a decent position, so really you have to think that this finish is all about the yellow on the left-hand side. I would imagine his next ball. In it goes. Nicely played as well, because he covered the black off just in case.
And this will keep Mark Boyle on track. Still with a chance. It'll put him 2-1 in front. There'll be 3 to play.
Yep, he needs all of them.
Frame.
2-1 confirmed. Mr. Magic with his nose just in front. He'll break in frame number 4.
Well,
And you know, Dan, he'd love to produce a good solid break here. Give himself a chance. It would get him to 3-1. He knows that he's got a chance. A 4-1 victory needed.
yeah, you could cut potential with a knife. This is just going so
Frame
close.
4. Mark Boyle to break, leading 2 frames to 1. Time running.
Mark was 1 missed black from being eliminated in that previous frame. His break has been so solid all night. It's just, it hasn't let him down at all, this break. But there's a grimace, he's not happy. He wants an opening yellow and he hasn't really got one.
10 seconds. Extension called.
He's having an anxious look to see if enough of this yellow's exposed to be able to plant it down to the 2 over the bottom right corner.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's going to have to plant it cushion first. There's no guarantee the yellow he's hitting comes out nicely, but if he makes any sort of contact, you'd imagine he'd be okay. Oh, he's played the cue ball into it and it's double kissed. Oh, wow. And Steve Thompson comes to the table with a pretty easy looking set of yellows. Just that one in the balk area. That's his problem.
10 seconds. Extension called.
That was such a massive moment, Jim, because you just feel like Mark Boyle must feel like the world's against him after that break and not coming out on a yellow. And then the double kiss, the way that that came off.
Yeah, it was creative thinking from Mark Boyle, even to try and play that shot. billiard,
10
but
seconds.
I agree with you, Dan. Very unlucky not to have gotten the yellow.
That's not the best opening positional shot from Steve, though. I mean, what's he on here? Can he cut the top red into the bottom left? He's queuing over that yellow. This is a tough shot. Oh, he's made both of them, and that is exactly what he didn't want. He's only really got one option now, and it's the ball he's closest to. Can he get the cue ball? Does he have the angle here to get on that difficult yellow in balk? If he does, then Mark Boyle's night may be over. Couldn't avoid the reds.
Well, same question asked again. Does he have the angle to get on that difficult yellow at the top end of the table? Possibly.
I think this is a better angle, but this is a really deep screw. Oh, he's got it. Oh, he's gone past it. Has he found the gap? Oh, he's held his hand up. He's found the gap. Oh, my word. Mark Boyle must feel, I mean, distraught. How has he found that gap?
Frame.
Well, he found the gap, and he may have opened the door for Mark Boyle's departure from the event. 2-2. Mark Boyle, Steve Thompson.
Well, he's just opened the door for both of their departures from this event, Jim. That means that neither of these players now can go through. And Tom Barley's missed black in the previous match means nothing. He will be through to the next round. How lucky is Tom Barley after missing that?
Frame 5. Steve Thompson to break. Scores are tied, 2 frames all. Time running.
Well, if I'm Tom Barley, I'm waiting for these two to buy him a pint after the match.
Certainly,
Foul.
Steve. Definitely.
1 free shot, 1 visit. Time running.
Steve Thompson, in these first 4 frames, his 2 breaks, the cue ball flirted so heavily with that pocket. This time, when Mark Boyle doesn't need it, it drops in. Isn't that just typical for the Scotsman?
You know, and just like Clint
10
Ianson,
seconds.
you know, who's a heavy favorite to progress
Extension
from his
call.
group, Mark Boyle, who was also a big-time favorite. Well, he may well be watching from the sidelines. Don't know if he's still in the running for the runner-up, but he certainly isn't going to win the group.
No, neither of these two can qualify for the next stage now, Jim. That's their races
10
run.
seconds.
I mean, really, it's quite astonishing. So far, we've had 4 groups of the Champions Cup, 4 out of the 6 in the first event. We've had 1 favourite that's made it through. And Liam Dunster's odds must be getting shorter and shorter by the day because of that.
Welcome to the world of pool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we don't like to disappoint on the drama front, that's for sure. We haven't tonight. Really, though, every one of these players who's played tonight has had enough chances to go through to win. And Tom Barley is a deserved winner. He's taken more chances than anyone else, and that's all you can ask for, really.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more, Dan. I just feel like he's been the best player in the group.
These two are still duking it out for the runners-up spot now. Although that won't keep them in Event 1. It may put them into Event 3, depending on, well, how all the other groups in Event 1 and 2 go. So there's still a chance that these last couple of frames are important. But not in the way that Mark Boyle or Steve Thompson will have wanted them to be.
Frame.
Black into the center, 3-2. Once again, Mark Boyle guarantees that he's not going to lose a match. So with a 3-2 advantage, 1 frame to play. Oh, Mr. Magic, it won't
Final frame.
memorable
Mark Boyle to
of
break.
Champions Cup.
Leading 3 frames
But-
to 2. Time running.
He hasn't tasted defeat, not once.
No, it's astonishing, really, isn't it? But for Mark, he can look back on certainly missed chances against Wade Morley in the first of his matches. He was 3-0 up, he was cruising, and he just allowed Wade back into the match. If Mark Boyle is in anything like his, even anywhere near his B game,
Extension
then
cool.
Steve Thompson might be coming back to the table, because these yellows look pretty good. Do have to hit the cue ball though, Mark. Just that one, the yellow above the cue ball, above the red. Slightly awkward, but you can move the red here. I don't think he's on that yellow to the bottom left, actually. So it may be a plant next up. That may be his only option. He's having a look at the overhead.
10
I mean,
seconds.
he must be swerving this. Oh, wow.
Couldn't have played that any better.
Great shot. Loads aside. Didn't look like it went. Has just pushed that yellow up into balk, though, up into a bit of an awkward spot. Gonna need a good positional shot to get back up there. It's going to need to be a very good positional shot because this yellow looks dead straight into the centre.
Yeah. You saw
Can
his
he pin-
face too. He knew he hadn't quite punched it out enough.
Can he pinch enough to get it off the near jaw, to run the cue ball into the jaw and up the table? Oh, wow. He's manufactured an angle there out of nothing. And this is made easier, this shot here, by the red on the balk line, because he can just naturally drift the cue ball into that. Will be perfect on the black. Can just put everything into the pot.
10 seconds.
Well, it's a great way to finish for Mark Boyle. It'll be the only match he will have won Small consolation, however.
Frame.
A
Mark Boyle wins
4-2
match
win for
4-3.
Mr. Magic. And he'll be happy, but not happy enough. And we'll be back with more following a short break.
Well, we've got our winner tonight, and we've now got our runner-up, haven't we, Mark? It's been a long, long night, hasn't it? But,
It has been a long night, but the drama that it's created tonight has been watchable. I bet there's been people glued to the TV sets watching. It's been tremendous. It really has. It's been really interesting. I thought we was going to get like a Black Bull shootout at the end. I mean, just look how close that group was. There were so many scenarios that would happen. If Wade Morley would have won, he would have been on 3 points. If Steve Thompson would have 4-1, he could have finished. It had everything. Are we going to get another group like this, Gary? I don't want another group like this because it puts us through the mill, doesn't it, of all the scenarios.
Yeah, you're the expert on Paul, and you were saying to me earlier, there's nothing in this tonight between any of them, and like the winner. Well, Tom, he was 7-2, wasn't he, to win it outright? But I still think Mark Boyle, don't forget, he's not played many matches the last 6 months, as he, with his wife not being too well. But I think Mark, will he now definitely go through to the next group have we got?
So he won't get through to the next stage because he's only got a +2 different average. Right. So Jake Dylan Newlove, he no doubt he's been watching tonight because he could have lost that space. The butcher, he could have lost that space, but he hasn't. He's still in it, so he's still got 2 more groups to go to see if he gets into stage 2. But Mark Boyle getting 4 points tonight will now make him a massive favourite to get into event 3, and it's going to give him another chance. It's going to give him a little bit of time to play a bit more competitive pool, and he'll come back stronger in event 3, and he's going to be hard to beat in
And when will event 3 be in the Champions Cup, Mark?
So event 3, after our World Championships, which is on the 15th to the 20th of February, which people can still enter if they want to.
In Bradford, you tell me?
Yeah, in Bradford. Go to ipapool.com where we can get some entries if you want to. There's doubles, there's mixed doubles, there's a lot of activity going on for the World Champs. But then we'll be back on the 28th of February, right? And that is when event 3 starts with another 24 players.
Oh, that'd be good.
It is.
I might have a bit of suntan by then as well. I think I might get a little week's holiday near Valentine's Day.
Have you got time to get it? You got time to get
Valentine's Day, yeah. We're going to have 7 days away, I think, in Tenerife, please, God.
Okay.
Tomorrow, what we got tomorrow?
Well, we've got the world champion here, John McAllister. He's been the longest reigning ever world champion because of the pandemic. He won the world championships in 2020 and he's held that title right to this actual day, and he's going to be holding it right to the 15th of February when he'll have to finally give up that trophy to try and defend it. No one's ever defended the world championship.
Yeah, but also tomorrow, Mark, there in that group tomorrow, in Group E, we've got Dean Shields. Now, the whispers that I hear, Dean Shields is a very, very good player as well.
He is, and he's been a world champion himself.
He's been a world champion.
In the doubles with Gareth Hibbert, the godfather.
Last year's.
They won a black ball shootout where it went to sudden death, and they won. And Dean Shield potted the winning black.
God.
It was tremendous to watch. It really was. In 2016, and that was also in Bradford.
In Bradford, yeah. And the other two contestants, well, we've got Connor Tracy and Matthew Coates. Now, I don't know too much about Matthew Coates. Who is Matthew with?
So Matthew Coates is from Nottingham. He's qualified as well throughout. He's ranked number 15 on the amateur ranks. So he's really thinking about turning professional next year and getting in these pro ranks. This is going to be the first time he's going to play in the studio setting. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays.
And Matthew Tracy?
Connor Tracy.
Connor Tracy.
So Connor Tracy is from Coventry, so the same area as John McAllister. So them two know each other well. And no doubt they've played each other 1,000 times.
Practice.
Absolutely, they do. And Connor Tracy, he can play. He got to the group final in last season's Champions Cup. So he'll be trying to just go that one stage further to try and win the group. But not many favourites have won so far in these groups. Is John McAllister going to be another one of the favourites to get eliminated from the Champions Cup 2022? So
have we got to set the alarm clock tomorrow night for a late night again or not with the matches? Because how you're talking, it's going to be tricky again.
It is going to be tricky. I'm not sure I can go through another day like we've had today. It's been tremendous for the viewers. It must be horrible for a player just sitting there, what's going off, what's next. And everyone's everyone's had to do the sums to see. Even me myself, I've had all my fingers going. And
You've got to feel sorry for Dave, our producer, tonight, because he never knew when it was going to finish or what black ball shootout was. You were saying, wasn't you? No one knew, did we? Well, we still never knew till 10 minutes ago, did we? You know, it's. I thought Jim White's today, and I thought Dan on the commentary, fantastic. You know, with yourself, you even commentated on 2 matches as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
But we've been on the edge seats all night, haven't we? It's been one of them nights tonight, hasn't it? It's been really, really close, and it's been fantastic.
It's been brilliant to watch, without a shadow.
Right, so who's going to be your pick for tomorrow then?
Well, you can't look at
Before the odds come out, do you think who's going to be? Well, you think he's going to be favourite, Johnny Mack, isn't he?
John Mack.
Odds on?
Yeah, definitely. When you watch John McAllister play, he's got an absolute Rolls Royce Q action. It's perfect.
Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce.
You'll have one, and then when you win the 10 grand, when you're on next week, you're on, and you're.
No, we've got February yet. You got another month for that.
February, you're on.
Don't worry, you won't be on your own just yet.
Yeah, February you'll be on. Rolls Royce. The wife's been on. Let Mark win it. I want a Rolls Royce. Take it back to Skeggy. You'll be all right driving a Rolls Royce trying Skeggy, won't you?
Yeah, it looked well, won't it?
Who's this one? Yeah, I think you're Elvis Presley. Anyway, what we're going to do then tomorrow, mate? We're going to close the night up now. I think. Yeah, we've had a great night on Paul, haven't we? You know, I've enjoyed it, but as you said, it's been really, really close. Edge of our seats tonight, and we're going to come back tomorrow with Johnny Mack.
Yeah, and we'll be on the YouTube channel on IPA Pool on YouTube tomorrow at 9
for the
PM.
first match again, and then 10 o'clock from Sporty Stuff TV.
Yeah,
straight after we'll have the last 5 matches live as well. On the
we will.
Been a good night, hasn't it, Mark?
Been a terrific night.
You're
Can't
tired?
wait for tomorrow. I'm not tired. The adrenaline is just pumping. The nerves was. When I was commentating, I just felt for the players, and I could feel the tension in the comms. I was in there on my own, and I could just feel it. It was great to feel.
I hope that late night train was still running tonight. Anyway, when we get home. Anyway, we've had a great night. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, we say many thanks to all our production team, our referee, and most of all the players. And you at home watching, because 1:30 in the morning, and you're still here watching us. You know, watching the night of Paul. But it's been a great night, hasn't it? And we'll see you all tomorrow. Good night.